All right, here we go. DJ Yella of NWA. Welcome back to Vlad TV for the third time.
Yes, the third time.
The third time. It's the charm right here. It's the charm. Well, we have a lot to talk about, but first of all, I just got to say this. How did it feel to once again see a kid from Compton at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Oh, the Kendrick?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess seeing it the first time, like, cool. But second time, like, okay, I already seen this, I'm surprised they did it that fast. I'm like, wow, it's Compton twice on the Super Bowl. So it's an honor. I mean, it's great.
Well, yeah, because Dr. Dre had his Super Bowl in L.A. some years back, and Kendrick had a guest appearance on that, right? But now you had Kendrick by himself do the whole set.
Yeah, I mean, I was just surprised, just Compton the first time and Compton the second time.
Yeah.
I'm like, something going on. Compton made a little noise somewhere down the line.
More than a little.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy to just think about how you have so many different cities around LA that like people really don't know about, like Tarzana. Like, Tarzana's not on the map.
Yeah, Gardena, Carson, all these places.
Like all these places. Woodland Hills, like there's so many areas that just are not on the map. But Compton, for some reason, has just resonated multi-generationally.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. I remember Compton used to be a bad taste in people's mouth. Back in the early days, maybe the 70s.
Yeah.
Probably the 60s too. But, just all of a sudden it just changed.
Well, yeah, I remember on Dre's Compton album, he had that whole kind of news footage thing in the beginning, talking about the history of Compton, how it used to be a primarily white neighborhood.
I never heard it.
You know what I'm talking? Oh, you never heard the album?
I've never heard the album, no.
Okay. Well, anyways, in the album, they basically talked about how, it was predominantly a white neighborhood. And then at one point, kind of black families from the South started to immigrate and kind of settle. And then you had white flight.
I mean, because you had, remember the Bushes.
Yeah, George Bush
came from it. And
was living in Compton.
In the church I was at a while back, he was in that church.
Really? Yeah. George Bush.
Yeah, I mean, because it was a Compton High was a college.
Oh, okay.
First. So I'm quite sure it was all white. I'm quite sure back in the day, yeah. Compton High School was a college, then they switched it made a Compton College, and then turned it into a high school. But yeah, it was all white, not predominantly white. It was all white.
Right. Now it's pretty much all black and Mexican.
Nah, I think it's more Hispanic. I would say 75%.
75% Hispanic.
At least.
Mostly Mexican.
Yeah.
Okay, 25% black. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's been changing over the years.
Oh.
Like the 60s, 70s, 80s, it was a lot black. Just a few Hispanics. But now it's just a lot.
Well, when you look at the battle between Drake and Kendrick, with Not Like Us being the winning song, number one, what did you think about the overall battle?
Nothing, because I never heard them.
You never heard either one?
None of them.
You've never heard either of the songs?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really?
I heard of somebody, whatever the battle was, but I never heard the song. Because I don't listen to music. No.
You've never heard Not Like Us?
Nah.
Really?
No, not at all.
The biggest song to come out of Compton in decades.
I mean, but it's nothing new. A diss is a diss, or whatever they call them nowadays, but yeah, I never heard it.
Well, I'll give you some highlights from the battle. And it went back and forth over the course of 6 to 8 songs. And during the back and forth, Drake accused Kendrick of being a woman beater and also accused one of his kids not really being his, being like his manager, has slept with his girl and
that
so
sounds
forth.
Like some soap opera stuff.
Right. But then Kendrick came back and basically called Drake a pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
And that song where, he goes, it'll hit a note and it's probably A minor.
Yeah, that song put him on the Super Bowl.
That
basically.
Song. And he performed that song at the Super Bowl with accusation of Drake sleeping with underage girls.
Oh.
right?
Hey, that's their business.
When you compare that to the NWA Ice Cube battle, to be fair, it got a little dirty. I mean, on, what was it, 100 Miles and Running, didn't you talk about?
I mean, but see, we never made a song about it. We just had a couple of
comments.
inserts. Yeah, that's
well, there's a comment about a broomstick.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
Ice
mean,
Cube.
that's just the way it was. They were just words. You know, it wasn't actual battle. It was studio. That was all studio. You know, just like this is now, it just one person talk mess, the other one talk mess. One just happened to get him back good or get deeper to him or cut him with a knife or whatever the case may be. It's just, this song is this song. They the same. You go way back to New York doing it. Then you got to think about E and Dre and all that stuff. So, you know, a diss song is a diss song. It just happened to be a bigger one or a nicer one or a better one or whatever the case may be, happened to hit at the right time.
Yeah, you've never seen a diss song performed at the Super Bowl, which is essentially the biggest stage in America.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have known it was a diss song because I never heard it.
Okay.
Because I didn't look at much of the Super Bowl. It's just, that's a generation under me. You know, I'm not into the generation.
Okay.
I'm more relaxed.
Well, Ice Cube left, and obviously the group was upset because he was a very vital part. No?
You say we was upset.
You guys weren't upset?
No.
Well, why?
Why would be?
Why talk about put a broomstick up his butt? You know, in a song.
I mean, it just, like I said, just words, just talking mad.
Right, but
just
it's words that come from something. Doesn't come from
I put it like this.
Happiness and contentment.
I put it like this. I didn't see nobody mad.
No one was mad.
No. Matter of fact, we didn't even discuss it.
Ever.
Not in my presence.
Okay, who was making the Ice Cube comments? Was it Ren?
On the song, on the lyrics?
What song was that?
Ren might have said, ooh, wow, you making me feel old now.
Hold on.
It was 100 Miles Running. It was,
Well, okay. There was a few one, you know. I was talking.
Few comments.
Dre, I was talking to your bitch O'Shea.
Yeah, like I said, a few comments. Just
always
just
into
threw it
something.
out there. Yeah.
That was always into something.
Yeah.
Right? Well, did you guys ever think of actually doing a whole diss song against him, or that was
never thought of it. I told you it was never discussed.
Okay. Well, but then Ice Cube came back with no Vaseline.
Right. And he got us. I told him that. That's how you did it, you know. And like the movie it portrayed, you know, that we sat there and listened to. We didn't though. But I told him when I was with E or something, I said, he just got us. That's just how it was. It wasn't nothing else past that. Now unless E took it a little bit more, I have no idea. But it was just a diss song. He got us, caught us slipping. That's all. That's what it was. Just caught us slipping.
Was there any plans to jump in the studio and actually do a response record?
Nah.
Really? Why not?
Nah. Just, that wasn't on our agenda at the time. I mean, it was, I wouldn't say messed up. It was just kind of hurtful that he left the group. But nobody cried or nobody was kicking in doors or breaking windows like, he left. He ruined it. No, it was nothing like that. Zero.
Okay, but if you look at the timeline, right, you got straight Outta Compton.
89.
And then Ice Cube left. And then 100 Miles and Running.
Yep. 90.
And then I think America's Most Wanted came out.
No, it might have came out before.
Okay, so maybe America's Most Wanted came out.
Because the diss song wasn't on that album.
It wasn't. It wasn't, right. So America's Most Wanted came out. Then 100 Miles and Running came out, I think. And then
Well, you got to remember, he also said something on MTV. He said a comment. So that's why we had comments.
Okay. Well, he also did the whole D. Barnes thing.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So then the For Life album comes out.
Yeah.
And then the next Ice Cube album comes out, and that had no Vaseline on it.
Oh, I don't know. I have no.
Yeah. Because I remember hearing it for the first time.
I thought it was a single. Well, it might have been the single release.
Well, it was off the album, though. I believe it was the second album.
Oh, see that? I don't know. 'Cause I never listened to Cube's albums either.
Yeah.
I never heard Dre's album, Cube's album, nobody's album.
Death Certificate.
Oh, okay.
Right. That was his second album.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and he, you know, that was considered one of the best diss records ever
Yeah.
at that time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and he let everyone have it, you know, including you.
Yeah.
Well, he said, Yella on your team, so you're losing.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the only line he said about you?
Only line. That's all he could say about me. I mean, a lot of it was the manager and all, you know, but.
Yeah. D.O.C. didn't catch any strays on that song. I don't think he was mentioned at all.
I don't know. I never heard the full song, so.
Yeah, well, he did. I mean, I think when Ice Cube did an interview on D. Barnes, he kind of made fun of D.O.C.'s voice.
That, I see, I've never seen the actual.
That actually happened. That actually happened. But I think, like, on the song itself,
Yeah, it wasn't nothing.
no Vaseline, he didn't really say anything. No. Did you and Cube, because you and Cube became, you know, cool afterwards. I mean, did you guys ever have a conversation about that song?
Never.
Never.
The group, nobody ever talked about that song, and nobody ever talked about him leaving. It just didn't happen. I don't know why, but our mind wasn't on that at the time.
Well, my point of laying out that timeline was that by the time that diss record came out, NWA was over.
No, it had to come out before.
No, listen to me.
91?
The For Life album came out like
In 91.
mid 91.
That was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
That was the last NWA project, period.
Yeah.
And then
No
D.O.C.
Vaseline came out. Was it a little bit before or a little bit after?
It was after.
Oh. So then I was with E then.
Hold on. That was... So No Vaseline came out October 31st, 1991.
Oh, okay. So
See, okay.
Yeah, so I was with E, yeah. By that time.
And then the For Life album came out May 28th.
Yeah.
It is very close. It's within 6 months,
Yeah.
right?
But the group wasn't.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When that came out,
The group was already done.
NWA
So it
was
more
officially
E.
over, right?
But E, we had a diss song for him.
For Ice Cube.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you just told me you didn't have one.
It's still there. But it never got the words. It never got the words.
What do you mean
I
the
did the
words?
track.
Oh, you did the music.
I did the track. We had this reggae guy come in from one of the movies. He did in the breaks and stuff, and that was it. Worked on it one day.
No lyrics.
No lyrics.
Who was going to write for Eazy?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Right, because he never really wrote himself, right?
Nah. He might scribble here and there. You could tell when he scribbled his words. But, yeah, because it wasn't... I don't know who was writing for him then. After...
BG Knockout and Dresta? Well, Dresta, I guess, originally, and then BG Knockout later on.
Maybe some, yeah. Maybe some of it.
Well, NWA just got a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys last year. Well, not last year, but just recently.
Yeah,
in February.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that just passed. How did that feel?
It felt different. I don't know if it felt better than the rock and roll, but a Grammy, they were just like, oh, okay, after all this time, they give us something.
Oh, so they gave you actual Grammys for the Lifetime Achievement?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
okay,
actually had, it was a ceremony, but it wasn't on the main ceremony. It was the day before, on a Saturday.
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah,
you couldn't even put us, because they do so much now, so many awards on Sunday. So they had a special, because I'm trying to think of the lady that won Patti LaBelle or somebody. Gladys Knight got one the same time we did. And I'm like, Gladys Knight, remember when I was little, heard her before. So that was like an honor. And we just got Apple Music Top 100 Award.
Right.
I just got that in the mail just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Apple Music included Straight Outta Compton as
Yeah.
100 best albums
Yeah.
of all time, which is very well deserved.
Yeah, because think about it, it's been thousands and thousands of albums made. It's been great albums.
There's thousands of albums this year that have come out.
Yeah.
Maybe even this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, NWA has a very special place in my heart because I don't know if I ever told you the story, but like I was a hip hop kid from elementary school. I was a break dancer. I was hip hop. I got to junior high, you know, all my friends listened to hip hop, and I got into a bunch of trouble. Like the vice principal threatened me, and my parents were like, okay, we're taking you out of the school, putting you in a private school for a couple of years to just get you away from this craziness. So I get transferred to a private school, and nobody in the school listens to hip hop.
Yeah.
Everyone's listening to modern rock and Depeche Mode and whatever else. So, you know, I'm going along with what my friends are listening to, and I kind of stopped listening to hip hop for a couple of years. Then I go back to high school, to public school again. And I remember a friend of mine in class said, hey, listen to this. This is Eazy-E. I listened to it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just so good. You know, it was just like Eazy-E, Easy Does It didn't have to grow on you.
Yeah.
You heard it, and you instantly were like, this is very special.
Yeah.
The production, the vocal tone, the lyrics,
Oh, yeah.
the skits.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Compton. I truly thought, because of what Eazy said, that Compton was in Michigan. I truly believe that, right? I truly believe.
You from the Valley, huh?
Right. I truly believe. Well, no. I'm from the Bay.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in the Bay.
Even further up north.
That's even further. I hadn't been to LA at all. Think about it.
Okay.
A high school kid that's never been to LA.
Yeah.
You listen to this album, it's like, oh, you come from Compton, Michigan. I'm like, oh, okay, Compton, Michigan. All right. That sounds normal to me, right? You know, I'm sure there's other rappers out in Compton, Michigan as well. And yeah, man. And I was just like, I fell in love with hip hop. And then that made me sort of dig up like NWA and the Posse, and then like the Gangster single.
Yeah.
You know,
Boys
because
in
the
the
album,
Hood, all that.
yeah, Boys, yeah, well, yeah, because Straight Outta Compton hadn't come out yet.
Yeah, okay.
The album.
88, 87 probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was right at that time where Eazy had dropped. And you got to think this is an independent album.
Yeah.
So it's not all over Warehouse Records and new releases. Like, you have to know about it. It was on cassette.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even think the CD was out.
No, it wasn't no CD.
There wasn't a CD out. So this is what I'm saying. This is a very underground moment.
Yeah.
And you look at me at 51 years old, I've devoted a majority of my life to hip hop. And I really feel that was a pivotal moment right then and there. Something that you helped create really moved my life in a direction that I'm very glad
You know, it's a lot of people
turned out
talk.
to. You know?
A lot of people talk like you too.
Really?
I go around the world and they say, man, you guys was my soundtrack to my childhood. I'm like, huh? It's amazing how people listen to that music. Okay, the East Coast of New York was great. It started.
Yeah.
But when we came, we just put a whole big twist on it.
Yeah.
And it got into the suburbs, and that was it. Once it gets to the suburbs, that's it.
Yeah.
It was you, and you
I
don't
was
know
in the
nothing about
suburbs.
LA.
I was in San Mateo, California, in the suburbs. A white kid played me that song. Okay, let's just
Wow.
right and like you didn't hear people say motherfucker
Yeah.
like that
Oh yeah.
all the time.
That was our daily language.
Right, right. In the Bay, we didn't really talk like that. So you got to. I always feel like the greatest hip hop puts you in that place.
Yeah.
It really creates a visual for you of like, okay, you are now in my environment, and I'm gonna. If you close your eyes and listen to the music, it'll actually put you there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you guys did.
Yeah. I mean, because our lyrics was so. This is all we know, and writing what we know. You know, we're only talking about what we know.
Yeah.
We open that door. That's exactly what we talk about.
Why was the Eazy-E album first? I mean, because there was the compilation, like NWA and the Posse, right?
Well, that was not an album. That was just some songs Dre had did, which was Feel a Fresh Crew, which the D.O.C. was in.
Right.
And a few other people on there. It was just some songs at Macola. It was a compilation.
Right.
They only did that is when they was waiting on our album, our second album, after the NWA, after the Eazy-E. Because we didn't have an album.
No. But the NWA album wasn't out yet.
When the Posse?
Nope. It was not. It was not. I remember I was listening to the Posse waiting for Straight Outta Compton.
But you might have been listening to some songs off the Posse.
Well, it was called NWA and the
Was
Posse.
it?
I remember
Not before Straight Outta Compton.
before Straight Outta Compton.
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Hold on a second. Let's look up the dates. Hold on.
This is me he talking to.
I know. But these are, we're talking about 30-year-old situation. It's like, and sometimes you're talking about, what was it, May or April? I don't know. We're not that
because
young.
like 8 Ball and some of the songs.
Right, 8 Ball was on there. Okay, hold on a second.
Might have forgot Yella.
Nah, NWA, straight out of Compton. Because that went gold and Easy went gold before all that.
Okay, well, here's my point. NWA and the Posse was released on November 6th, 1987.
Was it really?
Straight Outta Compton was August 8th, 1988.
Really? I would have never.
The only reason I remember is I remember what I was doing in my life during that time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was in high school, and I remember hanging out, working out to NWA and the Posse, waiting for Straight Outta Compton to come out. And listening to, like, 8 Ball and some of these songs early.
Yeah.
Because the album wasn't out. And I remember when the album
Because we had
came
them like maxi singles coming out.
Right.
Ruthless Villain.
Yeah.
But that was on, it was 4 songs on a single.
Right. I think like Gangster had like, you guys were getting your shoe shined by a white dude or something like that. Like that was the album cover or the single cover. No, I remember. Yeah. So it was a year earlier.
Wow.
I was right. So why did the Eazy-E album drop before the NWA album? With him not even really wanting to be the rapper.
I mean, you got to go back to how it started. One group, you look at the Eazy album, that looked just like an NWA album, if you look at the cover.
Yeah, everyone's on the cover. Yeah.
So Dre or whoever came up with it, I think it might have been Dre, to make it 2 groups. See, we thought of it then as that's double money. Instead of one group just Eazy-E, might as well NWA, Eazy-E. So we made it 2, and his was easier to do first.
Why?
Because some of the songs was made already. Boys in the Hood was made already. 8 Ball was made already. So them was easy to pull and put them on the album. Just like Straight Outta Compton. We pulled singles and put them on the album. Sure did.
Right, because you and Dre started together doing music first, right?
Yeah, Wrecking Crew.
Right, but before the Wrecking Crew.
Before the Wrecking Crew was me DJing and making mixtapes. Before I was in the Wrecking Crew, but Dre wasn't in the Wrecking Crew for 2 to 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I was the DJ in the club at first. Oh,
okay,
yeah.
So then Dre came around after you'd already been in.
After I was the man.
Why did you guys decide to let Dre in?
Oh, I don't know. That was Lonzo.
That was Lonzo's idea.
Yeah.
Okay. When he first came around.
Dre and then Clientele. Yeah, that was.
Okay. Was it obvious, though, when he first came around, that like the talent level?
No.
No?
I mean, he could scratch. I mean, but we were just DJs at the time. So we ended up being DJs together for, I don't know, a while. A year or, I don't know if it was 2 years. Before music came up.
Okay, so when did he actually start making beats, though?
Once we started, I don't know the year. Could be 84, 80. I don't know what the year. Whenever Surgery came out.
Right. So did he produce those songs?
He did Surgery. But at that time, it was this guy named Daniel Sulfur. He used to have the drum machine, the keyboard and stuff. And he could program it and all that, put the bass in, the keyboard and the chord sounds. So he would come in, Lonzo would hire him to come in. I don't know if he played the music or he played what he wanted him to play. This was before we had to learn how to play this stuff. So it was like early Wrecking Crew. Once we started doing music, we both started learning drum machines, then end up, the board, we learned everything because after a while, we didn't need an engineer. Just cut on the mic and that's it. Because we did everything. That was the difference between us. We kept it all in-house. All in-house. We wanted a sound for a sample, hire a guitar player, bass player, or whatever it is we need, keyboard player. And that's how we got our sound. Because you listen to our sound, it's not just all samples.
No.
East Coast was all samples.
Yeah.
Ours was more musical.
Yeah, no, I remember reading this interview with Jimmy Iovine, and Jimmy was an engineer himself, right? He did like John Lennon and
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, he was working on major projects,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you're doing John Lennon, you're kind of
Oh, yeah.
you're at the top of your game.
Yeah.
And I remember reading how when he first met Dre and he was listening to The Chronic, and he's basically like, this is the best engineered album I've ever heard. Who did your engineering? Dre was like, I did. He's like, oh yeah, we gotta do a deal. Like, I gotta work with you. Was there something about Dre's engineering that's different? When you said you guys started getting rid of engineers.
I mean, we learned it together. We just knew how to mix the sound. The key to mixing, when we recording it, you EQ the sound. Most people have it flat or something. We EQ it like we want to hear it.
As you're recording.
When we record it, we EQ it.
Huh.
So then we come back and finish the song and come back to mixing it, we EQ it again. Huh. But we also added like a kick drum. We may have 3 kick drums, 3 separate kick drums, 2 or 3 snare drums, you know, so we fatten our sound. But that came from DJing, hearing other people's records.
Yeah.
You know, we just learned that. It was simple. Nothing spectacular about it, but we just learned it. Most artists or groups or whatever, they don't know nothing about the equipment. Nowadays they do, but back then we just learned it step by step, everything. No schoolwork, no books, no nothing. The ear never lies. I don't care where you are. If you got a good set of ears, they don't lie.
Well, TK Kirkland, he's a regular on my show.
Oh, really? Wow, I ain't seen him since '89.
Oh, really?
He was on our tour. He was the MC.
Oh, hold on one second. I'm going to see if I can get him on the phone. Hold on.
Is he still doing comedian?
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
He's constantly on tour. Actually, he has a deal with Live Nation, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, to host the shows?
Yeah, to do the shows.
Wow.
I'm going to put you on FaceTime with somebody you haven't talked to in a very long time.
What's up?
Oh, my God.
Boy, I ain't seen you since '89.
What's going on, sir?
Oh, not too much?
DJ Yella in the
Wow. TK in the house.
Please tell the world how great I was with you. Everybody thinks
You had a few people laughing.
everybody thought I was full of shit. No, seriously.
No, we was cool. 40 shows. You was right there.
Tearing it up, yo. DJ Yella in
Wow.
the building.
Well, man, I ain't seen you since then.
Yep, haven't seen you since then.
You look the same.
Blad changed my life. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I'm 92 years old. I'm 92. But, yeah, Blad changed my life, yo. I had to wait around for Blad to take it to another level.
Wow.
Man. Yep, so it's good. So listen, guys, I had it as soon as I saw his name, I came out in the movie theater.
Oh, okay.
So I respect Blad. So I walked out to have a conversation with you guys. DJ Yella, listen. It's a pleasure. I want to thank you and Eazy-E for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime, because that truly changed my life.
Really?
Who would have ever thought that something like that would have been so powerful in my career?
Oh, wow.
It really stamped me in the world. I'm talking about in Berlin, Brussels, Belgium, all these places I go to. And I mention that the respect gets that much higher because I started out with the greatest hip-hop.
You don't have to brag on us that much.
No. Yeah, you got slow. But what was so crazy, we didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, not at all. That's why it was so good.
That was so good. And to this day, the chemistry you guys had was phenomenal.
I mean, the whole thing, the whole tour, everybody was in click and sync, everything.
Yes. It was like we was all born for that moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was our only tour, too. That was the only tour.
That was the only tour. And out of all the tours I've done, I toured with everybody. Mm-hmm. The show that stands out the most is when we hit Louisville, Kentucky. Do you remember Louisville, Kentucky?
I remember Nashville.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened in Louisville, Kentucky. You guys didn't have to sing one song. The audience sang.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, y'all could have just sat there.
And the crowd was 95% white.
and said every song, beginning to end. I just thought that was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
DJ Yella, give you your flowers for life. You, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, you guys really changed my life, and I'm glad that Vlad put us on the air.
And I'm glad you doing good. I'm truly glad.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, sir. I can't let you guys down. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't let you guys down. Love you for life.
All right, love you.
Life,
love you. Okay.
All right, take care.
All right.
Yeah, man, TK Kirkland.
Wow. Wow. We had, I mean, like he said, that year was so perfect. It was almost perfect. I mean, really. No issues with the shows, no fights, no nothing. And it just, they was nervous of us, they would think.
But didn't Ice Cube leave at some point during the tour?
Nah, we did
That was
40
after the
shows.
tour?
Yeah, we did 40
That was after
shows.
the tour. Okay. One of the things that's interesting, I heard you talking about this in certain interviews. When you watch the movie, and you guys perform "Fuck the Police" in Detroit, the cops swoop in and everyone gets arrested, and it's a big, like, crazy riot or whatever else. But in reality, that didn't really happen.
Nah, I mean they definitely ran us off the stage. I ran to the hotel. I remember.
Okay, you got ran off
We
the
was
stage.
trying to get to the bus to go over the bridge to Canada, and they caught us in the elevator. They did. It was funny because when we got in there, there's a few people in there, but they turned toward the wall. So we all get in there. I mean, we all fit, the door closed, and they turn around with badges. I'm like, oh, we caught. And they gave us a ticket, like $150 ticket or something, and autographs.
Well, had you ever performed "Fuck the Police"
No,
Before.
that was the only time ever.
in life?
Yes. I mean, I played a song doing DJing, but
Yeah.
performing, nah. Until, me, Ren, and Cube hooked up on his shows. He does it. But then the group, never. Because we was told not to do it, too.
So every show you're being told not to do it.
Oh, yeah. What, before the tour, we had to sign and say it. And I don't know what made them want to do that song. And we didn't get paid that night for the show either. So
Okay.
I'm still mad.
You still mad about that? Okay, so you guys had to sign a contract with what? With Jerry Heller saying that you won't perform?
I don't
with
know.
who?
With the promoters or
The
whoever.
touring company, whatever.
I can't remember who were the promoter, Nori Walter, whatever. I don't know what firm.
Okay, so you sign a contract saying you will never perform "Fuck the Police."
Yeah.
How many shows into the tour was Detroit?
That had to be 20.
So that's like halfway through.
Yeah.
So you guys are halfway down. You're like, man, fuck this. I'm going to perform "Fuck the Police." Fuck that contract.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't discussed. I'm quite sure Dre and Cube already knew, but it wasn't discussed at all. Because when we up there, we know what's coming up. I'm like, is he playing that? I was like, oh my God. We look at Ren and like, nobody knows.
Right, because you're the DJ during the set?
That part of the set, Dre was on the turntable.
Oh, okay.
And I come down, be on the stage. Because I had to control the music too. On the side of the stage, back then we had DATs.
Uh-huh.
We were the first one to do DATs too.
Okay. Okay. So you guys perform, the cops rush you off the stage.
Yeah, he couldn't even get halfway through the first verse. they threw
Fuck
like
the police, go straight out the underground. Uh-oh.
Yeah. They threw like M80s or something inside to clear the crowd.
Oh, really? So like bombs were going off, basically.
Yeah, and they cleared, and then you see the police, and we just exit stage left.
Okay. So was there ever a conversation to perform "Fuck the Police" for the rest of the shows?
No, we didn't. We still didn't do it no more. We didn't get paid. We got ran off the stage. That didn't happen no more. It was a great idea, but nah.
Well, you guys do Straight Outta Compton, and you get this 40-city tour. Did the album go number one?
The album, did it go number one? Our album went, you know something? I do got a number. Yeah, it went number one on Billboard, I think.
Let's take a look.
I think so. Because remember, we wasn't getting radio play, so we...
Okay, so it peaked number nine. Wait, hold on. On the main Billboard chart, it peaked to number 37.
Okay, so yeah, we didn't go number.
But yeah, you're right. Zero radio play, banned off MTV.
No, yeah. No
This
video.
was all word of mouth promotion.
Oh, yeah.
Although you guys did have music videos on MTV, on your MTV Raps.
They didn't play them. We made a straight out of Compton $100,000. Back in them days was $1 million video.
Okay.
And they banned it. MTV banned it.
Well, I've watched that video on MTV.
Well, it might have been on the
Your MTV Raps.
The late night one or the paid ones. I don't know if they had the paid ones yet.
You mean like video jukebox and stuff?
Yeah.
Well, what about like Express Yourself? That was
Express Yourself, because it was clean.
Yeah.
That video got played, but not straight out of Compton. And we made that video and they did not play it. That's what started the ban on MTV stuff for.
Huh.
What was that song?
Well, you guys had a 40-city tour off Straight Outta Compton. And then the For Life album comes out. And that album goes #1, I believe.
That shipped #1, which was the first for hip hop. Yeah, that went out the box #1.
Hold on, let's look up that album real quick just to get.
You don't trust me, huh?
No, I trust you.
I know my stuff a little bit.
Debuted. Okay, here's what happened. I trust you. I just want to get the details.
Yeah.
It debuted at #2, but then on the second week.
Oh, that's what it was.
#1.
Yeah, okay.
That's what happened.
Yeah. It like shipped the most than any hip hop, if I'm not mistaken. It shipped.
Well, but there was only 2 shows that was done to promote that album.
I don't think we did it. Oh, 100 Mile. No. What shows we do? Oh, Arsenio. We did Arsenio before they after 100 Miles.
This is actually based on an interview that you did.
And we went to London for 2 shows.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but that wasn't to promote the album. We just did 2 shows.
Well, but you guys are promoting an album at the same time.
I don't know if it was in time.
What was happening? I'm saying, like, when you have a #1 album, usually there's like at least a national tour to go along with it, if not a world tour.
But remember, we had a #1 album and no group.
So the group, by the time the album came out, was the group totally done?
I think it was done.
Really?
Besides a couple of videos. Well, the videos were shot a little bit ahead. I think the group was just about done.
Right, because Always Into Something was one of the singles. I remember the video for that.
There was 2 videos on that one. Approach the Danger, which was not a video, was me putting clips together to make it. So that wasn't a real video. The group was done then. But Always Into Something, Approach the Danger, which we did them 2 videos, that was it.
I mean, how frustrating was it? Here you are in this major group. There's a #1 album. There's all this money on the table to do a tour. All this money to do you could have done an international tour at that. Because like I said, you're doing London and stuff.
I'm going to tell you, from my opinion, what messes up, we were supposed to do a tour. It was getting worked out.
Okay.
The problem was insurance. That was the first part.
Okay.
Even though we didn't have issues from the first tour, which they thought it would be. So issues, with insurance or something. But we were supposed to do a show with Guns N' Roses. 2 shows.
Right.
In stadiums, not arenas.
Right.
They wanted to give us $25,000 for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's it. What, 3 songs maybe? But management, I ain't saying no names, they wanted $50,000.
Well, is that Jerry Heller?
I'm just saying management.
Well, I mean, who else was the manager?
I don't know. I don't say names.
Okay.
But no, they wanted $50,000 for the 10 minutes. Then Guns N' Roses turned it down. That was it. If we would have did Guns N' Roses, we wouldn't be talking today. It'd have been totally different because they would have wanted us on their whole tour. Because Guns N' Roses was the hottest group.
Yeah, no, they were megastars. Yeah, no, I got it. Wait, so when was this offer made? Was this before the For Life album? Or?
No, I think it was, I don't know if it was between 100 Miles of Running and the album. It was somewhere.
Okay, but Ice Cube was gone at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So it would have been the rest of the group without Ice Cube opening up for Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, I remember, me and Chuck D are cool. He talked about in his book about how they would open up for U2. Mm-hmm. And that was a turning point in their career.
Yeah.
Because U2 at the time was the biggest thing on earth.
Yeah.
They're doing mega stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about how he knew it was different when they arrived at the venue And then you start seeing helicopters come in, and like the group comes in on one helicopter, their luggage comes in on another helicopter, and he was like, "Oh, okay,
That's big time.
This is big time here. This is not what we're used to.
Yeah.
This is the highest level here that we're dealing
Now
with."
just think about it. If we'd have did the Guns N' Roses, 'cause remember, Axl was definitely wearing our hat during his whole
Oh, he was wearing
tour.
NWA hats?
Oh yeah, you can see it in the videos.
Oh.
He was wearing the hat. That's why they wanted us to do this. I don't know if it was to try out the 2 shows, but they wanted us for 2 shows. And they sold 5 nights out in LA.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. And it's just like, just imagine. Even though we still talking about NWA, 30 plus years later, just imagine we would have got on with Guns N' Roses. That would have took us to another level then. But it wasn't meant to happen then. It was meant to happen now, which the movie took us to that level that we would have did with Guns N' Roses 20 years earlier.
Well, yeah, you said that Eazy-E was a great businessman, but the problem was that management manipulated him. He didn't even know what was going on. If people had beefs with the manager, it wasn't that he knew about it. The manager was just slick by himself. He was out slicking him. It wasn't like him and the manager were in cahoots. I'm quite sure that whatever Eazy signed, a lot of it, he didn't know what he was signing.
Oh, I'm quite sure. I know he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know nothing. He was a great businessman. On the streets business. But record business, he probably had no clue. Because he was only getting fed what he's told. And you got millions of dollars coming in. Here, sign this. He don't know what he's. I know he didn't know what he signed. Just like the contracts. When I signed my contract, turned it over and signed it. Thank you for the check. I'm quite sure it was like that. You think the problem was with us, and we didn't know at the time, we should have all had managers. At least a group manager, and then the record label
individual managers.
That's what it should have been. Individuals would have been better.
Yeah.
But individuals would have made it even worse. So if you have just a group manager, then you have a label manager, then it could have.
Yeah, because
but then the problem
negotiating with each other as opposed to one person negotiating
all of
for
it.
himself.
Yeah, but the problem was we didn't know. We all, even including E, we all learning publishing, artists, producers, writers, all these different individual parts you get paid from on one song.
Yeah.
One song. And publishing is the golden key to a song. You own the publishing, it's a big game.
Do you own any of the publishing from the NWA albums?
Nah.
Eazy-E albums?
Nah.
None of them.
I mean, I still get producers, I still get artists,
Yeah.
but I don't have the publishing. Maybe off of one little song. Yeah. I had a song we was talking about too.
Yeah, I remember TK Kirkland talked about how Eazy-E only spent $5,000 to make Straight Outta Compton and made $22 million off of it.
I don't know about 22 million. I ain't seen no 22 million. But it definitely didn't cost that much because, like I said, a lot of the songs was made already.
Done, yeah.
So you think about, you buy a block of time. Was it $4,000 for a 100-hour block or whatever the block was?
Yeah.
We made the album within a month. 3 weeks, I think, to be exact. Because every day was a new song. But then, we decided, okay, Boys in the Hood, we remixed this. We remixed this song, Gangsta Gangsta got remixed. Dope Man, we didn't put back on it. But everything else, it's old stuff. If you think about Straight Outta Compton, half of that album is old.
It kind of was. No, when you listen to it for the first time, you've heard half the song.
Yes.
Like, was Dope Man on there? I'd heard that. Was 8 Ball on there?
Yeah, because I remixed the Dope Man, then the 8 Ball, all that.
But Fuck the Police was new.
That was
new.
Straight Outta Compton, Police.
Yeah.
The Give Me Something to Dance To, that was new, because that was Arabian.
Yeah.
Wasn't too much, just a few of them.
No, you're right. I mean, but being the fans that we were happy to get it. Like,
Yeah.
It was like, okay,
Yeah.
we don't care if we heard a few of these. Like, there's still enough new stuff
But we
on there.
remixed them, so we changed them up a little bit.
A little bit. BG Knockout said that, NWA didn't reunite because Eazy-E stayed loyal to Jerry Heller. And I remember reading a lot of interviews around that time where Eazy was basically like, I know they're trying to play the race card with me and Jerry, but when I go to a doctor, I don't look for the best black doctor. I look for the best doctor. And I felt, he's like, I feel that Jerry's the best manager and so forth, so I'm sticking out with him.
I don't know nothing about that. I don't think so. Matter of fact, I know so. Because he ended up firing Jerry. So.
Right.
So,
and didn't Jerry sue Eazy after he got fired?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why did Eazy finally fire Jerry? Because I've heard different stories.
You know something? We never talked about it.
Never talked about it.
That's one thing about the group. All these issues seem like they had, but nobody discussed it. The movies made look like we discussed it, but I've never talked about any of these issues.
You and Jerry, did you guys have a relationship?
Yeah, at first, yeah.
Okay. How did that relationship evolve over time?
The truth?
Yeah.
Or you want me to
No, the truth. I want to hear the truth.
I came to the Valley, which I don't like to come to. I came to the Valley one day. He said, bring your checkbook. That's what he said when I'm finna pick up a check. And he said, his fee, 20%. Okay. $18,000 or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. $18,000. Keep that in your head. I'm about to walk out his door with a check. I picked up a check for $93,000.
Okay.
I'm about to walk out. Oh, can you go see the accountant? Okay. And the accountant was in the Valley, which I don't like. So I get to the accountant, and the accountant said, you owe $93,000 in taxes. Young. Remember, I'm young and dumb. So when I left the Valley, I was out of the $18,000. I was out of the $93,000. I signed the check and gave it to the accountant. If that don't tell you nothing, that never will.
Okay, but to be fair, everyone pays taxes. I've paid millions of dollars.
You're not hearing.
What am I missing here?
You're not hearing me.
Okay.
This was in 1990. I didn't have no $93,000 in taxes. I didn't make that much money. Back then, $93,000, you had to make at least $300,000.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't make no $300,000. I just happened to owe $93,000. What the check says. You don't see the cahoots.
Okay,
you don't see the cahoots.
So you're saying that Jerry basically robbed you of that $93,000?
I'm not saying that.
Sounds like you're saying.
Because he didn't do it. He didn't have a gun. The accountant had the gun.
Right, but he told you to come down and see the accountant. He orchestrated it.
His accountant.
His accountant.
So if you don't put two and two together, I happened to walk out, I owe $93,000. Really? Exactly?
Right.
So, okay, if I owe $93,000, just tell me where to go pay it. Not endorse the check to you.
Right, you would pay the IRS.
Thank you.
Okay.
I paid the IR accountant.
Okay, now I see.
So if that don't get you.
Now I see.
After that, business was about done. I didn't know at the time, but I remember, later, one time I worked on somebody's album, JJ Fad or somebody's album, their second album. And I went to the manager, okay, discuss when I'm gonna get paid, because I did the work already. I go talk to E. Aren't you a manager? So that's what the conflict is. I go talk to the manager about my fee with the company, which was there, but he tell me to go talk to him. So we needed our own managers. That's just the bottom line. It ain't illegal. It was immoral.
Yeah.
So, it's slick. Very slick.
Do you feel, it's hard to answer this question, of course, but do you think that if Eazy never hooked up with Jerry, NWA would have never happened? Or do you think it would have happened eventually with someone else?
You know something? I don't know. That's a good question. It's hard to...
Right.
Because the music got us there, but No, it was the music. It wasn't Jerry that got us there. It was the music that got us there.
Well, the music got you guys there, but you know how the music industry goes. Like, you could have the best music, but if you don't connect the dots.
We did the deal with Priority. They wasn't giving up the most money to nothing. I remember me and Dre wanted to go to Capitol at first because they was trying to pay up front. We was broke. We needed the money. But we didn't go with Capitol. Gladly we didn't, because we'd have got lost on that shuffle. We wasn't there tight. Priority was the best bet for us because they only had the California Raisins.
Right.
So, and they promoted the heck out of that because that California Raisins was everywhere back then.
Yeah.
You hear them songs everywhere, them dumb little raisins.
Right.
But they sold 1 million records.
Well, but it wasn't even the Raisin song. You're talking about Marvin Gaye and stuff like that being redone.
But he promoted that idea.
Right.
I never heard the Raisins, but they was a hungry group. Priority was very hungry.
Yeah.
And they just promoted. So it was the music that got us. Maybe Jerry got us the deal there.
Yeah. And
then ended up getting other deals because we had like major distribution deals with Atlantic, all kind of things. And the problem was we didn't fulfill all them contracts. So that kind of destroyed Ruthless. Because Bone was on Bone wasn't on Ruthless, they was on whatever company they was on.
Wait, Bone Thugs and Harmony wasn't signed to Ruthless Records?
They were signed, but the deal was through somebody else. Like Michelle A, Atlantic. D.O.C. was Atlantic. J.J. Fair was Atlantic. They was on Ruthless, but it was just distributed.
All right, so, okay, hold on. Let's look at the first album, Creeping on a Come Up. That was Ruthless Relativity.
Relativity, that's what I couldn't think of the play. Yeah, Relativity, yeah. But Relativity was kind of secondary. We had messed up the bigger deals with the Atcos and stuff, with the D.O.C. on Atlantic or whatever, label he was. So Relativity wasn't the top back then. It was just, but the deals, I don't know. Business was just bad back then. We didn't know nothing.
Well, you mentioned J.J. Fad. When I interviewed them, they were talking about going on tour with you guys, and they said that Eazy-E used to give groupies fake music contracts on tour.
Oh, I don't know. I ain't never heard that one. You didn't have to. That's a good one.
He used to say, I'm going to sign you to Ruthless here, sign this.
Oh, that's a good one. I never heard that one.
Well, there's been a lot of talk over the years about Eazy-E and the way he died and so forth. Like, BG Knockout is convinced that Eazy did not die of AIDS. He's convinced.
Oh, something? I'll put it like this. I don't care what the thoughts was, the solution in the end was he died. It's all that mattered. How he got there, it could be anybody. I have no idea. Could be the disease, could not be the disease. I don't know.
Well, what was the whole thing about insurance policies during that time? Because
our insurance policy?
Yeah, because I guess okay, so I guess when Dre was in the group, there was $1 million insurance policy on every member?
Yeah, Lords of London. I remember we did that. London. We had to go get blood tests, for them kind of insurance.
Right.
Ain't heard nothing else about it. So I don't know if somebody already had the policy. I don't know who had the policy. Now, think about this, Mr. Vlad.
Okay.
Eric couldn't collect. So Eric ain't got the policy. Somebody collected. I'm quite sure somebody collected off his insurance.
So you're saying that somebody got...
And his was more.
So someone made millions of dollars when Eazy-E died.
I don't know for sure, my opinion, but I'm quite sure. If you got them, if you had them Lords of London insurance policy, I'm quite sure they was kept up.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure. At least it was only a few years kept up because we probably got that. It was after, I think Cube was gone. Cube might have been gone when we did the insurance. I think so.
Did you notice Eazy getting sick over time?
No.
Not at all.
Never. I mean, because I just seen him at a birthday party, 94, December 94. And he died March of the next year. So I seen him in December at my birthday party. Then I seen him in January going to Vegas up and back in 95. To me, he looked normal. But I looked at the pictures from 94, my birthday, and 93, my birthday. 2 pictures. I got both pictures. You can see the weight difference in 94. He was way smaller.
Well, I interviewed the Hughes brothers. Mm-hmm. And Eazy was hanging out with these guys.
Yeah. That's who did the little footage for the Approach to Danger footage. That was the Hughes brothers.
Oh. Okay, so you saw them around.
Yeah. Twins.
The twins.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Eazy kind of took them under his wing a little bit.
Yeah.
And was riding around with them. And actually, they were supposed to be, Eazy and Ren were supposed to be in Menace to Society.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Nah.
Right. So Eazy was supposed to be O-Dog.
Oh,
and
really?
MC Ren was supposed to be AWAX.
Oh, I don't know.
But Ren, I guess at the time, was becoming Muslim. So he didn't want to play that character.
I mean, think about Boys in the Hood. That was supposed to be E's part. That was E's part. But all they did...
Which part?
Boys in the Hood. Cube's part.
Cube's part, yeah.
Yeah. But they gave E more money for the title than Cube.
Wait, they had to pay Eazy-E to call it Boys in the Hood.
$50,000. If I'm
but
not
it was
mistaken,
spelled a little bit differently, wasn't it?
No, it was exactly like it. The font may be different, but it was spelled Boys in the Hood. Yeah. They paid E for that. And he told me personally, he said, I got paid more than Cube got. So
No,
that
you're
was
right. It is spelled the same.
yeah, that was a chuckle to him because, Cube was the enemy at the time. So
I never knew this. They had to pay. But I thought that you can't really trademark a song title. Because
evidently.
Because, for example, if you did that...
Then, well, it was spelled different. It wasn't regular Boys in the Hood.
Well, it doesn't matter, though. Like, for example, I'd heard you can't trademark a song title because then I Love You would be trademarked by somebody. No one can make a song called I Love You.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, I don't know how they did it, but I didn't get paid from it. They did it.
Well, right. So when I interviewed the Hughes brothers, I was talking to Albert because I interviewed them separately. They don't get along these days.
Oh, wow.
I know a lot of twins that don't get along, man. It's actually kind of crazy. But Albert talked about this one time how he was riding around with Eazy, and he's saying how he had noticed that Eazy's skin was a little ashy, and he would always have to go to the bathroom and he would throw up. Sometimes
really?
They would pull over and stuff like that. And he said this one time he was like, "Hey, Eazy, man, do you have AIDS?" And he said Eazy just kind of laughed it off.
Oh,
and that was it. But he actually said he brought it up to him.
Oh, wow.
In person. And Eazy.
Yeah, because I said by the 2 pictures, which I might let you use the 2 pictures.
Okay.
But you can see the difference from a year, how smaller he was in 94. Then I seen him in January. Then he went to the hospital in March. Remember, he went to the hospital because of coughing and death. I guess that's when he found out. Because he never told me he had it. So, and I talked to him for one time in the hospital. That's when he told me, watch yourself.
Yeah.
Because I was shooting a movie in his house. So
a porn movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, watch yourself.
Huh.
And I hung up the phone like, what is he talking about? A couple of weeks later, I find out what was going on.
Well, a lot of people like to say that there's no way he could have been HIV positive because he had all these girlfriends and all these kids, that some of which were born after he died. In fact, there's 2 kids named Eric.
It's probably more than that.
I don't know. Right. There's 2 different kids named Eric. Eric Wright. And the argument was, well, if he had AIDS, a lot of other women would have it as well.
They said he would spread, but I talked to somebody about AIDS. It's hard to get AIDS. It's really hard because it's got to be through blood. That's the only way you can get it. And, some sex is rough, some sex is not.
Well, here's the thing though. They did a special about Eazy-E. They had various people. I think Crooked Eye was in it. One of Eazy-E's daughters was in it, and so forth. And they had this doctor who said that he had treated 2 different women who Eazy had given HIV to.
Oh,
yeah. They never came forward. They never tried or whatever. But he said that he had treated. He said one of the women is actually still alive.
Oh,
so,
I don't know.
So yeah.
Like I said, the end result is he dead. He ain't coming back. We already know that.
Right.
But how he got there, I mean, it could have been a disease. Well, I don't know.
Look, I remember
a lot of people say different things, but you know.
Well, he was on Howard Stern and he said, "I never use condoms."
I know he didn't. I didn't either. I was just blessed not to get caught. Because it took me, I didn't have no babies till 99. So I went through all my prime without kids.
You were just a pull-out master, huh?
Of course.
You can pull out your driveway blindfolded. Like, man, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because I never wanted a kid. I'm not.
Right, Eazy had 11 kids.
Is it 11?
Well, that's what Google's telling me.
I mean, I can't keep count, so I never met all of them, so.
Yeah, 11 kids.
I met most of them. Is it 11? Ooh.
11 kids.
That's a lot.
Yeah, by 30 years old.
Yeah.
That sounds like non-condom behavior right there.
Of course.
That's all I'm saying.
You ain't got time for no. Oh, no, you ain't got time for that.
Yeah, who was I talking to where, like, I forgot who this was, but they're talking about how they would ride around with Eazy, and this was before cell phones. I guess pagers were around.
Yeah.
And he said that, like, he would drive around every few blocks, he'd pull over.
I've said it before.
Was that you? That might have been, yeah. He'd pull
had,
over, call his girlfriends.
No, he didn't call girlfriends. One.
Oh,
that
one
he would
girl?
call every 5 blocks.
Huh.
It was crazy. Because we would go to K-Day, and it takes already from Compton to Silver Lake or wherever it was, and we stopping at every other phone. Every 10 minutes, he's stopping, just like, it was before cell phones. He had a bunch of change in the center of the car.
Just putting the money in the
Yeah, he
in
just
the
get it
payphone.
on the phone, then he come back. We drive, get on the phone, come. Cause we had the pagers and just, wow. Cause I remember when phones came out. You know, phones back then was 50 cents a minute. He would have a bill for thousands of dollars.
I remember that. The big brick phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah. When that meant $10,000s of dollars.
Yeah, it wasn't no
in today's
unlimited.
currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's no unlimited plan. You crazy?
Yeah.
Man, I remember at my brokest point, man, I was in New York. I was broke, sleeping on my man's couch, trying to become a DJ, and I'd gone over my minutes, and the bill was like $500.
Yeah,
and I just remember looking at it, and I just remember how it messed up my whole week.
Wow.
How I'm like, how am I gonna pay this bill?
I had a bill like 2 or 3 times after that. Oh no, I got to do something. I can't be talking.
Right? No, it was crazy back then. If you went over your minutes,
oh yeah, 5.
it was catastrophic.
But before that, when we first got. There was no, it was just minutes per minute pay. You
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
no,
it. Yeah, there's
you
no
didn't get
plan.
free
Yeah.
100 minutes. No.
Well, when everyone left, and then Dre formed Death Row, and the whole thing happened with Suge wanting to get the sign off and everything else like that. Were you talking to Eazy during this time when there was sort of the tenseness between him, Suge, and Dre and so forth?
I give you one thing, Mr. Vlad. I never discussed none of that. I never talked to him about it. Didn't want to know about it. I had nothing to do with this song. None of that. So he just didn't tell me stuff. Just like he didn't tell me he had AIDS. He just didn't discuss it with me at all.
Well, when I interviewed Albert Hughes, he talked about how when that beef started to really heat up, Eazy-E's mother's house got shot up.
I never heard that.
You never heard that?
No. I mean, no, I never heard that. It could have happened, but I never heard it.
Yeah. It's, Suge was Suge. You heard a lot of stories about Suge.
I don't know.
Have you ever met Suge yourself?
Not my business.
No? You never met him?
I met him
Okay.
a couple of times. That was it.
How was that?
That was it. Don't know nothing. I don't want to know nothing. Never stuck my nose in. Nah. Hey, that's grown folks' business.
When you heard the comment about the whole injecting with AIDS thing, which Suge is kind of doubling down on now and so forth.
I mean, I think somebody told me about it. I'm like, I said it doesn't matter because he's dead and he ain't coming back. So, ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know nothing about it. Don't want to know.
Well, BG Knockout, he said that Eazy-E had a fortune that he left to his kids, but his kids can't actually touch a lot of it.
I don't know nothing. Mr. Vlad, you just don't understand. I kept my nose out of everything.
Yeah.
Nobody told me nothing. I don't know about money. When I was on the plane with E, January 95, he had like a album cover tore up and he folded it in half and he wrote all the debt he was in. This is January 95. All the debt. And it was $1 million in debt. That's paying for people's apartments and studios. Because he would have rappers he'd buy apartment, get apartment for them, have them in the studio, just making songs. I don't know whatever happened to him. But it was $1 million in debt. He showed me this in January. To me, the label was broke. But I'm quite sure once they went through the court and all that, whatever happened, I don't know. But at that time, the label was broke. I mean, I don't know if the label was broke, but he was $1 million in debt. And remember, this is 95. That million is 5 million or 10 million.
Well, right, but wasn't Bone Thugs bringing money into the label at that point? Because they were going multi-platinum.
But they wasn't multi-platinum then. They wasn't multi-platinum. They went, I'm trying to see, was E alive when they went gold? Maybe they went gold or platinum, maybe. Because they came out in 94.
Well, okay. Creeping on a Come Up eventually went 4 times platinum.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay.
But not in E's days. When did that album come out?
All right, I see what you're saying. So it debuted at number 12 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's number one.
No, what year did it come
what
out?
year? 94.
Yeah, it was 94. What month?
But I see what you're saying, but
so I'm quite sure.
June 1994.
Think about it.
It takes a while for that money to come back.
Royalty, 9 months at least.
Yeah.
So, whether they collected with it, I have no idea. It depends on their deal. But at that time, he was $1 million in debt. At that time. I didn't say he didn't have the $1 million to pay it, but he was $1 million in debt. That I know for a fact. I seen it with my own eyes. If I had a phone, I would have took a picture of it.
Well, we did an interview with D.O.C. And he said something interesting. He said the same thing that happened to Eazy-E happened to Suge Knight. And what he meant by that was both these guys sort of were so focused on themselves and trying to get themselves as big as possible, they weren't creating kind of a structure with a whole bunch of other millionaires around them, that they were sort of sharing the money where if they ever stumbled, all these other people around them that they helped make really mega rich was going to help them. I'm not sure if I completely agree with that because Eazy made a lot of people rich.
Yeah, people made money.
But
they made money. A lot of people made money.
When you look at, for example, the run that Eazy had and what Ruthless did and so forth, what do you think Eazy could have done better in retrospect? Now, of course, you guys are all young. Nobody went to business school. You guys are figuring out as you go along. But if you look back on it, when you look at, for example, some of these...
I got the answer.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Finish the question.
Go ahead.
I got it.
You got it.
It's just that 4-year run. I think it was about 4 years.
Yeah.
We was hitting. I mean, gold, platinum. We was in the studio all the time making hits. That's what we did. We should have went back on the road. Remember I told you about the Guns N' Roses that would have changed. Because me and Dre wanted to get back on the road. Road was our love. You know, the studio, of course, but the road was just life. The thing, it's hard to say. I mean, you know, you would have to go through, okay, we should have managers, should have this, you know, the business-wise, but it would have been hard for him to learn more under that regime, you know, because you don't know what they really telling you. You know, you don't know if they really teaching you, learning you. Remember, that regime came from the 60s, and they knew every angle of a song, you know, not saying they was out to cheat or anything, but they knew the business, we didn't know the business. We should have had a group meeting, the 5, when it was still 5. Discuss what was going on. But that never happened. Huh. That's the issue. That meeting, or should have been meeting, never planned or anything, but we should have, not even a meet, we should have just talked about it. Huh. You know, we was in the studio so much, doing everything so much, we could have just like, what's going on? Okay, what's on your mind? You know, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it could have been brought up like the contracts. They waiving $75,000. That was hard. I don't know how Cube didn't sign. It's amazing because he had a mother and father still at home.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference too. He had a stable house. Me, I was just my mother. Dre was just his mother, you know, and so on or whatever. But we just should have got together and just, but you know something, Vlad? Mr. Vlad, I'm gonna call you. It was meant to break up. That group had to break up to get here. Because think about it, we sold more now than in the old days.
Well, yeah, and you guys were one of the few groups to break up after a #1 album.
Yeah.
Like, that usually doesn't happen.
You break up on the #1.
Usually it's like, all right, we've dropped 4 albums, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to go solo and try to scrape together whatever.
You know what's so crazy?
Whatever I can do.
When we got the rock and roll that night, I asked the guy, I said, do you know how many albums we did? And he was thinking, I said, we did 2 albums.
And an EP.
That wasn't the album. That was a mini EP. You know, it wasn't the album, though.
That was an important project, though.
No, I'm saying, but
how
many people get into rock and roll with 2 albums?
No, I get it. I really consider it 3, though, because I felt that was...
It's 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you 2.5.
Because it's only 4 songs, 5, whatever it was. But
right.
It's just, even at that, 2.5.
2.5 plus...
Yeah, you can't add everybody else.
I guess you can't really add Eazy-E because that's not NWA. Yeah. It's talking about NWA.
You can't add the Michelle. You can't add the Doc. You know,
you can't.
The label.
Can't do the Ice Cube solo albums.
Yeah, nothing. But it's just amazing that group had to break up, fall apart. And it didn't just fall. It dissolved instantly. Overnight.
Well, yeah, but then a lot of the members went on to have
I'm saying, but
careers.
The group had to dissolve.
Yeah, you guys like the Beatles, basically. You guys were essentially the hip-hop equivalent of the Beatles.
So we got 2 Paul McCartneys came out the group.
Well,
Cube and Dre.
Well, Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Yeah, John Lennon, but I think Paul McCartney was bigger, right?
No, John Lennon was pretty huge. But John Lennon got killed early, so that's why. Yeah,
that's what it was, yeah.
He wasn't doing songs with Michael Jackson because he was dead by that time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But John, I think, was actually the bigger star of the group, right?
Oh,
Am I
really?
Right? Yeah. John Lennon was actually the bigger star of the Beatles. It's just that he passed away early, and then Paul McCartney continued to do more stuff.
Oh, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. That group had to break up. Cube had to leave to get to where he got. He had to leave.
Oh, okay, so let's just rewind for a second. World class wrecking crew. That's you and Dre. Mm-hmm. You guys leave the group. You guys join with Eazy-E. Ice Cube and Ren are in a group called CIA.
No.
No?
I see it. Mr. Vlad.
Okay.
Ice Cube, in the Wrecking Crew days, it was us, the Wrecking Crew, and CIA. Cube, Jinx, and this guy named Barry.
Oh, okay.
He was going with his sister, Cube's sister at the time.
Okay.
So he was in the group. But he was older than them. Cube was young, and he was our age or just a little bit older, but Cube was younger. So we pulled him out of CIA and put him in Wrecking Crew because Clientele left the group.
Wait, you put who in Wrecking Crew?
This guy named Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, right.
Yeah, Clientele was there first.
All right.
Remember, Clientele left, he never came back.
Aha.
Well, we actually, all me, Dre, Clientele left. We did a 1-day, ban or protest, and we came back the next day.
Okay.
But Clientele didn't come. But, and I told this to Clientele, I said, you wasn't meant to come back. The next train, we was on the Wrecking Crew train. He got off. So we put Barry on the train. But our train was, me and Dre is going to leave this one and go to the NWA one.
Okay, so you and Dre, you leave the Wrecking Crew and you join Eazy-E. No?
Not join. Dre created that. So he didn't join Eric. It just, they hooked up together.
Okay.
Yeah, because the way you saying it is like he joined Eric's group. Is not.
Eric didn't have a group.
Nah, Eric had the money.
So he was going to finance Dre doing something new.
Yes.
And you went with Dre.
Dre came and asked me, after they did Boys in the Hood, they did Boys in the Hood.
Oh, so Boys in the Hood was done while Dre was with Wrecking Crew?
Well, we was at the tail end of the Wrecking Crew. We just did Turn Off the Lights.
Which was the biggest song you guys did.
Of course. When we leave, it get the biggest. So Dre do the single over there.
Yeah.
In the Feel Fresh crew. That stuff was done then for the Posse album. Around that time, that stuff was done.
Okay.
And I was working. So Dre, after he did it, he came in and said, hey, I'm starting this group, bop, 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 bop. You want to come? Okay, cool. Boom. We done with the Wrecking Crew, just left.
Okay, but the NWA name.
That came from a guy named Yomo.
Yomo Maki.
Which is the album I produced because Dre didn't want to produce or didn't have time to produce it.
Okay.
So I produced them, but the guy Yomo came up with the name. I don't know how he came up with it.
Okay. Before NWA, was there another group name or was there anything that was sort of representing this group of people?
No, because you got to think about it. When we left the Wrecking Crew to come there, me and Dre, then you got Cube from CIA, then you got Arabian Prince that was already doing solo. So you kind of got like a super group. All-Stars already, the starter group.
Right.
Ren had never been on nothing. He ain't never been on nothing. But he had the Boys in the Hood now. So it was like a super group. I don't know how they came up with the name. The perfect name, but it's just, it was all meant to be.
Look, these days NWA is a household name.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But when the first time you heard it,
I looked at
NWA, it's like, what does that stand for? And they tell you, and you're like...
Dre said, I said, okay, are we going to sell anything? But, it was like, you didn't say the word. You just didn't say the word.
Right. If you really think about it, right, was there ever a group name or an artist name that had the N-word in it?
Nah.
Up to that point.
They never even said the word. Well, Richard Pryor used to say it
Pryor,
on different.
Yeah,
he said it.
He had albums named that.
Yeah.
Right.
That ends crazy. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You had that, but that was on the comedy side.
Yeah. No other.
In the actual.
But something, there were songs made with the word.
Oh, of course. There was tons
Gil
of songs.
Scott or whatever. I forgot. One of the songs, it used the words a lot. I remember. I can't think of it. If you hear it, if I played it for you, you would know what it is, but I don't know what it is. It ain't Gil Scott. It's oh man, that's a good one. It's because we used it on the second album. We used some of the words.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you guys do the second album, you guys actually put the word in the album title, but you reverse it.
I remember we was on a tour bus, 89, and the name came up. I forgot who told me, Eric or Cube. They wrote the name, and I was just sitting there, and I wrote the words backwards. I said, look at it. You write it backward, but you hold it up in the mirror. This is what it said. And Dre said, oh, great idea. You finally come up with one. I'm like, okay. But yeah, I remember holding it up to the mirror and said niggas for life backwards. But I wrote the letters backwards, E for zagging or however they say that word. But that was crazy. And that was in 89 on the bus. So Cube was still in the group.
Oh, so that album title was already done.
I don't know if it was the album title or the song title, but that title was done at that time.
I mean, I've always found, like, in that NWA name, I always found the attitude part very interesting. Because it's just like, attitude. Like, you know.
Well, you know what it is? We said stuff on that album that people been wanting to say.
Huh.
Well, in music, Richard Pryor already said it. But in music, like the police. How many people have got stopped by the police, this, that, and wanted to say that? But in them days, you did not say that to a cop. Not like they do now. They all in their face. And I'm like, oh my God, you would have never survived the sheriff back then. Your teeth wouldn't make it. But yeah, we just said stuff and we did stuff that people just might have wanted to say much, but they just didn't do it. Like TK was saying earlier, it just clicked. Everything clicked so perfect one time. Think about it. The second album was a better album than Straight Outta Compton.
You think so?
By far, production.
Okay. So
Wait a minute, let me finish, Mr.
Okay,
Black.
sorry, go ahead. My bad.
The second album is better than the first one. But the first album had the chemistry. It just had the, I don't know, because it was just new. It ain't just because Cube was on it. No, that one just had, it was just so unique. The second album was by far better than the first one. Production, everything was better. But this one just had the songs. And it just had the little hooks. And it's amazing.
Okay. Rate the NWA albums. Okay, no. That's going to be too easy. Name the Ruthless Records albums.
Ruthless?
From your favorite on down. Number one. Your all-time favorite.
Our second album.
Okay. The For Life album.
Yeah.
That's number one.
But I like the Eazy album.
That's number two.
The Does It. The Eazy Does It.
That's two.
And you got the D.O.C.
Three.
Yeah. Straight Outta Compton. Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton was what, four?
Yeah. Then JJ Fad.
JJ Fad.
Yeah.
Was that the first album to come out on
That was the first album.
Yeah.
The first gold single, first gold album.
Yeah. So was that after Eazy Does It?
It was before Eazy Does It.
No. Okay, no. That's not what I meant. Was it before Boys in the Hood?
No.
So Boys in the Hood single came out.
You know something? But they did the song already on Dream Team.
Huh.
They was on Dream Team already.
But you guys redid it.
We redid it because...
With Arabian Prince.
Yeah. They were supposed to bring us the masters. And for whatever reason, we sat in the studio for hours and hours. Then Dre said, let's just replay it. And we replayed it, so that means we own it.
Right.
So they have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Supersonic came out before Eazy Does It.
Yeah.
A few months before. July, Supersonic, and Eazy Does It was November of 88.
88, yeah.
Okay, so we got five.
Yeah.
Now,
because I mentioned...
Do you want me to name a few of the other albums so you have them in your head as you do the countdown?
I mean,
There's Michelle A.
Above
the Law.
Yeah.
There is Terry B came out on Ruthless. This is a white girl rapper.
Yeah, I know who she was, and I know the concept. You know what it was? It was too far ahead.
Yeah.
That's all.
White girls that rap years in the future.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it was just
Iggy Azalea was still, a baby.
The idea was great. It was a perfect promotional thing, but it just
didn't work.
It just didn't work.
Right. 100 Miles and Running.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Well, I still don't consider that an album.
Well, project.
EP. Yeah, project. But I still like our second album. Still like the Eazy.
There's also, I didn't realize JJ Fad had another album.
Yeah, they had a second album, and they got caught up in red tape.
Yeah.
So they didn't go nowhere because it just, to me, I think it was too late to do the album. It should have been done right after
Supersonic.
89, they should have had a new...
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I envy those girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the For Life album. There's I didn't realize this was on Ruthless, Addictive Hip Hop Music by Cocaine.
I didn't know that either.
Well, I don't think it charted.
That wasn't no album, was it?
Well,
nah.
I mean, it came out on July 2nd, 1991 on Ruthless/Epic. It did not chart anywhere.
It might have been I don't know.
Yeah, and then Above the Law had a second album. Vocally
Yeah, they had a
Pimpin'.
second one. Black Superman or something?
Yeah, that's the one that had that song on there. That one didn't do all that great.
Yeah, the first one was like $450. It didn't get the gold. It was
a good album, though. I bought it.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was
now
good.
I got a murder rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but then the second
on
one, I don't know what happened on that one. They might have waited too late, too.
Yeah. Man, listen, I'm actually kind of learning some stuff as I'm doing this. So Yomo Maki actually had an album, Are You Experienced?
That's the album I produced.
You produced that album.
Because E asked Dre to do it. Dre didn't have time. He came to me. I was surprised. Huh? Produce an album by myself? So I produced the album.
Right.
And so funny, the Bone Thugs for the Love of Money came off of that album.
Aha. Yeah.
The original track. They just took the vocals off.
Well, yeah, that album was
But that album, the problem with that album is we should have had cuss words in it. I remember at the last minute, we changed not to do cuss words. And that just changed the tone of the album. And they got caught up in red tape.
Yeah, they sold 48,000.
Yeah, they got cut off.
It didn't do well.
Because they didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I mean, by this time, the label's winding down.
Yeah.
Musical Madness by Jimmy Z. I don't even know who that is.
Jimmy Z, he's a great horn player.
Okay.
A saxophone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know he had a full album.
he sold a total of 3,500 albums.
Oh. And Dre worked on that album.
Dre worked on Jimmy Z's album. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sold 35. I believe that's the lowest selling album Ruthless has ever put out in its history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Gotta be.
There also was a Menage a Trois album that I produced.
Well, hold on. I'm going to get to this. Then there is Pay the Cost by Penthouse Players Click.
I didn't know it was an album. I thought it was just a single.
No, it was an album.
Oh, really?
Debuted number 75. Sold 400,000 albums.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with Quick and...
Yeah, DJ Quick was on there. Kiss My Black Ass by MC Ren.
Yeah.
That one
went
platinum.
gold. Yeah, oh, it went platinum.
Platinum, yeah. Did 1.4.
Oh, okay.
I checked it out. I wasn't really too blown away by it. I think by that time it was sort of like he had kind of lost his kind of...
I mean, I don't know. I never listened to this.
And then Eazy-E came out 5150, Home for the Sick.
Yeah, but I had nothing to do with that one.
Black Mafia Life, Above the Law. I think that might have had Black Superman on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then it's on Dr. Dre 187 Killer.
That went through the roof.
That went double platinum.
That's triple platinum now.
That's the Compton City G's.
Compton City G. Yeah.
And then Ren had another album, Shock of the Hour, Blood of Abraham, Future Prophet.
They made an album?
It sold 10,000 albums.
Wow. I thought it was just
these were Jewish rappers. White Jewish rappers.
The problem was they was just too far ahead of the game.
Right.
If they'd have came out like late 10 years later, they would have did great.
Well, listen, I interviewed this guy Modest Yahoo, who was like one of the top reggae artists.
Wow.
He's a Hasidic Jewish guy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Ruthless was trying to do stuff way ahead of the game.
Then there's As Much Ass as You Want. HWA, a.k.a. Hoes with Attitude.
Yeah. I had to refinish a few of them songs.
Who worked on HWA? It was a big producer who worked on this. I think it was Damon Thomas. Was it Damon Thomas who married Kim Kardashian? Hold on.
Let me see. I finished it. I didn't produce the song, but I finished them. I can't think of... I don't know who worked on that album.
Yeah. Once again, not a major release here.
Yeah.
And then Cocaine had another album, Funk Upon a Rhyme.
I didn't know that.
And then Bone Thugs dropped.
Yeah. But Easy.
Creeping on the Come Up, that was double platinum.
Yeah.
Above the Law had another album, Uncle Sam's Curse. Okay, I don't know who the hell this is. Menage a Trois. Menage a Trois.
Menage a Trois.
Menage a Trois.
Yeah.
Chilicious.
Yeah. There were some girls, they came out too early. They was ahead of themselves. Now the girls talk nasty like that.
Right.
That.
Yeah, then East 1999 Eternal, Bone Thugs 4 times platinum.
Yeah.
That was a monster. Were you working on the Bone Thug stuff?
The first stuff.
Yeah?
Actually, the one that discovered them. But I ain't gonna say that.
You discovered Bone Thugs. Okay, because I interviewed Bone Thugs, and I guess, like, didn't they drive out to, like, meet Eazy-E after the show and stuff like that?
When we was doing a show in Cleveland, we was in the dressing room. I don't know how these 5 kids came into the dressing room. Where's the security, you know? So E walked out, and he said, listen to them or something. So I'm sitting there listening, and they rapping and singing them. You know, that was ahead of the game. I'm like, okay, you see that little guy coming back through the door? Go talk to him. So by the time we got off of that road trip, it was only a couple of shows, they was in L.A. They rode a bus, Greyhound, all the way on one big bag of chips, all the way from Cleveland. They was in L.A. And the rest is history from there.
Okay, so you worked on their first album.
Yeah. Well, For the Love of Money, Yomo Marky, that was already done. For some reason, they liked that. So I ended up doing the intro and a couple of little commercials or something.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a few more. Frost had another album, Smile Now, Die Later. Eazy-E did Straight Off the Streets of motherfucking Compton.
That was the last album.
That was the last album. MC Ren had another album, Villain in Black. Frost had another album, When Hell Freezes Over. Bone Thugs had Art of War. That was a big one. 4 times platinum. That was, I believe, a double album. That was during the whole double album phase, you know, in hip hop. And then, you know, let's see, MC Ren had Ruthless for Life. Busy Bone had Heaven's Movie. Crazy Bone, Mentality, Thug Mentality 1999.
I know they
Bone
did
Thug
all that
stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much. You're pretty much you know, at the end of the rope there. I mean, so For Life. What was the breakdown? The For Life album, Straight Outta Compton?
No. For Life, I like the Eazy Does
Eazy does it. Yeah, Eazy does it. Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton was like 4.
4.
Well, you got D.O.C.
D.O.C. was 3. Straight Outta Compton was 4.
And JJ Fad.
JJ Fad. You would put JJ Fad over 100 Miles of Running.
I mean, ain't that I put it in. It's just that I already put 2 of ours in. That one to just start buying.
Fair enough.
JJ Fad was a big project for Ruthless.
Supersonic was a smash.
Yeah, it took Ruthless to the next level. It opened the doors for all the other stuff that came behind.
Well, weren't you supposed to work on Michelle A's album?
No. Dre asked me, we just finished Straight Outta Compton. Or no, we finished something on Friday. Mixed it and everything. On Monday, he said, you know, work on Michelle. He asked me, you want to? I said, nah, I'm good. So I didn't work on the album. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Did it go platinum? I know it went gold, the single gold.
Nice Tea was a great song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it had good videos and everything. But see, the problem was, you got these albums that's selling a bunch of records. You don't come back with another album. That's the key to a record label. You got to have albums back, ready to go. Now, if the people that don't hit, of course you don't want to make no album. JJ Fad, you should have came back in 89 with an album. 6 months later, you should have had another album. While they still hot and while we on the tour, they could have sold another gold album.
Well, you passed on working on D.O.C.'s album as well?
I think, you know something? That's Who album after Straight Outta Compton, and then that's what it was. On that Monday, he asked me about D.O.C. I said, nah, I'm burned out already. I ended up playing the drums on one of the songs, but yeah, he sure asked me. I said, nah, I'm good. Go ahead, you do it.
Yeah, I think the D.O.C. story is one of the real tragedies in hip-hop because he was on such a trajectory.
He was finna take over solo artists.
Yeah.
He was about to take over.
Yeah.
But it wasn't allowed to. He was not allowed to.
Yeah, no, I've interviewed him. I interviewed him, but then we've also kept in touch.
Yeah.
Like me and him talk a couple times a year. We would have dinner together if we're in the same city and so forth. And like, when he got into the car accident, his vocal cords were all messed up.
Yeah.
You know, the doctors told him, you know, listen, you have to just wait a while. Once things are healed, then we could worry about trying to get your voice back and everything else like that. But everything is cracking during that time. Everyone's going on tour. Everyone's making money. People are recording. There's all this money being made, and he's just sitting on the sidelines. Yeah. So he goes and finds a doctor that tells him that he could scrape like the scar tissue out of his vocal cords.
Oh, wow.
To try to speed up the healing process, which actually just made it worse.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Wow.
It's a real story.
So he was just trying to catch up. But to me, his writing was a genius. He was a genius at writing.
Well, right, because originally, was it Ice Cube was writing for Eazy, but then when Doc came around, then it was like,
Cube was writing the first stuff, and Ren wrote some stuff too. But when Doc came with the We Want Eazy, it was just a different flow. And he, for some reason, he liked it. And he can remember the words more compared to the old stuff we had to do it line by line. But that one, he can get a little more flow. It was just, it like his lyrics just fit perfect. I mean, it was totally, because he wrote some of Dre stuff, you know, on the album, you know, even though Dre didn't rap that much on the Straight Outta Compton. But he still, you can hear the flow of Doc. Doc was an excellent writer.
Did Dre just not like rapping?
It didn't, to me, it wasn't time for him to rap. That's
right, but he would rap sometimes.
Yeah, he rapped only a couple of the songs.
Right, but then, think about it, then he had a solo album, which he's rapping on almost every song at that point. So, but I feel like during the NWA times...
Well, on the second album, he rapped more because Cube was
gone. Yeah, exactly.
Fill that space.
Right.
So he filled it. But on the first album, he didn't have to. Just express yourself. And in the song at the end, whatever the last song was on the Straight Outta Compton, he rapped on it. But he didn't have to do much on that album. But for the last album, he had to fill them shoes. Which, I mean, they got filled. Because, like I said, to me, that was a better album than Straight Outta Compton, by far.
Well,
it's just something on the first album, that one couldn't make again.
Well, here's how I feel. And listen, at the end of the day, we're both right. Right? These are just opinions about music, right? And I feel that the blueprint that Dre laid out in the For Life album was perfected when he did the Chronic.
Yeah, that was the future.
You could see, you know, like the synthesizers and the whole, you know, like the pitch bend and the way you guys, you know, like the whiny sound, you know, with the funk mixed in. I felt like by the time he got to the Chronic, he was just, what he started on that For Life album, he figured it out. I just feel the Chronic is a better album than For Life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't heard that album.
You've never heard the Chronic?
Never.
All right, listen. Can we after the interview? Can we go hang out in my car and just listen to all these major projects?
By the time I heard the songs from that album,
you never heard the Chronic?
I just wouldn't.
Come on, man.
Think about it.
Come on now, dog.
I was still with
I'm pulling a Boosie right now. Come on now, man.
Just like when Q left, so I didn't listen to that. Not at all. And two, Eric made me listen to a couple of the songs, probably the No Vaseline, or whenever. That was the only time I heard it. Other than that, I didn't hear it. And the Chronic, I just didn't. I was doing other things when the Chronic came out.
You're doing porn.
Yes. And I didn't care.
You care.
And I didn't care nothing about music.
After the scene is over.
Yeah, I didn't care nothing about music.
Okay, well.
I did that. Remember, I did that 13, 15 years.
Listen, I'm going to say the Chronic is one of the greatest musical projects ever to be done, period, of any genre. Like, it was really that good.
I mean, yeah, it was good.
It was really that good.
But Straight Outta Compton still has its niche. Whatever. It's not a niche.
I mean, you could definitely compare that to Straight Outta Compton. And I could see how some people might like Straight Outta Compton better because
it was just unique. Yeah. It was the first of its kind.
But, you know, I mean, when you heard Nothing But a G Thing, you were like,
great.
Okay. Yeah. I guess Dre is back.
I mean, grown up. I mean, but
Dre is back.
But the Straight Outta Compton was just, it had to be because it was new, different, one of a kind, ahead of itself, everything. And it's like a timepiece because people still listen to that nowadays. It's still downloaded. They ain't buying it, they download it nowadays. It's just, you can't replace that album. I don't care what you did. Even if Cube would have stayed, you could never top Straight Outta Compton. Not us.
One of the debates that's happened in hip hop over the last couple of years was who was the better lyricist, Ice Cube or Biggie?
I don't see how that's a debate. I don't know how that's a debate. Cube, I would pick Cube all day. Even though Biggie had great lyrics, it's just, something, it's all depending on who's writing the song. Well, I don't know if Cube was writing his own.
Was Cube always writing himself? Because I've heard different stories.
I mean, he always wrote, in the group he did, he always wrote his stuff.
Okay.
And was trying, writing a lot of E's. Now, see, like Biggie, I don't know if he wrote his own
Biggie
word.
wrote all his own stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had Stevie J on my show recently who produced a lot of Biggie's hits.
Yeah, so it's they try to compare like Eric B. and it's different eras of, at different time, rappers did great things. One rapper in this era did great, but you can't compare him to the Eric B. or, Rakim, It's hard to, I don't know. Biggie was smooth. I didn't listen to Biggie, but he was really smooth with his delivery, everything. Cube was more harsh.
Yeah.
Was more in your face. Biggie was just laid back. So it's hard to compare. You really can't compare them two together. Not to me.
Well, Eazy-E passes away. Mm-hmm. And you had said that undercover cops were surrounding the funeral?
Oh, no, that was, police. Undercover police. They was, the way that cemetery was like a little hill. And you can see them at the top, next, standing up by their cars. Because they didn't know what was going on, because it was like a circus.
Well, I mean, at the time that he died, he wasn't on the best of terms with everybody in NWA, right? I heard they'd been talking, him and Cube had been talking and so forth. I don't know where he was with Dre at the time and so forth. But the funeral happens, and you're the only one that shows up out of the group.
That's what you say?
And I remember I watched, like a trailer to your new documentary, and you're actually crying as you're describing being at the funeral. And
yeah, with the dirt for Lil Eric, Lil E.
Yeah, you actually scooped the dirt and gave it to Lil Eazy?
Well, I mean, I did my scoop, and then I give the shovel to them so they can scoop theirs.
Yeah.
I might have helped Derek, which is the smaller one, E3. I helped him scoop. But yeah, it was different. That was a different day right there.
Were you a little disappointed that people didn't put their differences aside and go to the funeral?
Not really. Because I thought about it. I can sleep good at night. For whatever reason that means. It don't mean nothing, but I can sleep good. So, something, the crazy thing is, it's never been discussed. That particular day, I mean between all of them, and I've seen all of them since that day.
Yeah.
It's never been discussed. Never talked about it, never even mentioned, nothing. So, I don't worry about it.
Well, Eazy-E had a street named after him in Compton.
Yeah, Easy Street.
Easy Street. You went to that ceremony?
Yeah.
Once again, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, MC Ren.
Like I said, I only can speak.
Did not show up.
Mr. Vlad, I only can speak for me.
Well, Lil Eazy spoke about it, and he said that he was kind of surprised they didn't show up. And I guess he had pointed out that at one point, Dre actually slept on Eazy-E's mom's couch.
See, I don't know about it. I never heard that story.
I guess what Lil Eazy was saying is that at one point, Dre's mom kicked him out, so he slept at
I don't know.
Eazy's mom's house.
That I don't know, tell you the truth. I didn't hear it back then, so I don't know.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is. People support in their own way and so forth. It's like Dre went on to become a billionaire. Ice Cube went on to have a great, movie career. Ren Me and him DM each other every so often.
Oh, do you? Okay.
He just likes to be low key. I remember he even told me he hates interviews.
Yeah.
You know, he just doesn't like doing them.
And you know what's so funny? You're my last interview. I'm done.
Oh, this is it?
Oh, yeah.
After this, you're done.
I got 2 more shows. One in Arizona on the 5th, and then Switzerland on the 12th. I'm done with that.
Okay.
Completely.
I respect it.
Yeah, you
All right,
you
so
my
this will be the
last.
final.
This is it.
Let me ask all the crazy questions then. What about that murder you got away with 2 years ago? Let's talk about that. I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean,
we're in a crazy time right now where Ricos are coming by, you know, and so forth in L.A. I'm joking, everybody. I'm joking. You know, with AI right now, there's been some talk about creating some Eazy-E content using AI and so forth. Well, because I remember, now you didn't listen to the album, but on the Compton album, they had like this little snippet of Eazy-E rapping that Dre used in a song.
Was it some old words or something?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah, that came off of probably some old song or something. I mean, if that's AI,
no, that wasn't AI.
Oh, I'm finna say they should be making an album right now.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was before AI existed. So yeah, that was a one little lyric he used on there.
I didn't know that. I never heard it.
Yeah, because Eazy didn't have a whole bunch of lyrics just sitting around that you could kind of...
Nah. You know, people thought, you know, what about all them tracks, like NWA track? There's no extra NWA track. We didn't make demos. When we went in the studio, we did the song. That was it. It was only 2 tracks laying around with no words on them, but that was it. That was all. Eazy didn't, you know, what he did in other studios, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, Ice Cube thinks that AI is demonic, and he doesn't want anything to do with it in terms of his voice and so forth.
People they don't understand what they setting up. It's gonna take over. Period.
Yeah.
Not okay. We start with the phone, then it's gonna be in the cars, and you know, it's so much. I mean, like my phone, every once in a while they send pictures, but it found all the pictures with the same person. I'm like, that's getting a little creepy right there. I mean, you added music and I'm just like, wow.
Look, like, I have seen videos on the internet where I am interviewing. There was like a cartoon that came out where I'm interviewing Donald Trump. And I'm like, okay, did they sample my voice from some other interviews and slap it together? But then I'm like, no, wait. I'm asking specific things that I've never mentioned before. And I hit up the guy who did it, and he was like, oh, no, we AI'd your voice. And I'm listening to it going like, when did I say it? Like, it really sounds like me to me.
It's
fooling me. And I listen to my voice every day.
That's some incredible technology. That's some scary technology right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these people don't understand. They creating this, but it's going to put a lot of people out of work. Whether it's in factories, you know, it's just going to take over.
Well, I laid off my writing staff at one point because a lot of their job was to write up summaries for videos.
And the AI do it.
AI just does it automatically.
And that's
I didn't want to do it.
It's just a little portion.
It hurt me to do it because some of these people had been with me for like over 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, the job could be done instantly now without having to pay somebody. I have to run a business, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's some scary... These people don't know what they getting into. They don't know what door they opening.
Well, when Dre left and went to go start Death Row, he offered for you to come.
No, he asked me.
And you just never answered him.
I answered him.
Years later.
Yeah, 20 whatever years later.
Do you ever think, had you joined Death Row and you and Dre continued musically together, what would have happened?
No, because it wouldn't. And he said something when I gave him an answer in 2019 or whatever it was. He said, I'm kind of glad you didn't come. Just like that. I mean, you know, it just, whatever, I don't know nothing about that regime over there.
Yeah.
So it was meant for me to stay with E, even though I didn't choose to stay with him. I just didn't pick a way. I just didn't answer, and I just got pushed over here.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad I stayed because, I can sleep good. I can sleep very good.
Well, I believe it was it last year that Snoop actually bought Death Row?
Well, a year or two,
Yeah,
something
about
like
a year or two ago. Yeah, he actually bought Death Row. What was it like? Do you and Snoop have a relationship at all?
No, I don't know. I only met him a couple of times.
Okay, yeah.
And that was just at Dre's house a year ago, and that football game a year ago.
Okay,
that's the only time I ever met him.
Okay, yeah.
He's very respectful.
No, he's a cool dude. I've interviewed him before.
I mean, but he gives the old school or the OGs very much respect. And I am impressed with that. Most don't. But him, he gives, you can feel the heart. Not just, oh yeah, man, OG. No, he's true about it. He looked up to us in them days.
100%.
Yeah.
No, 100%. In fact, wasn't there the first song that NWA kind of got back together? Snoop was on that song, I believe.
Oh, that was a Cube song.
Yeah, where he had like Ren.
Yeah, it was Ren,
Dre, and Snoop.
And Snoop was doing and talking on the breaks.
Was it Hello?
It was Hello. I think it was Hello, or what's the other one?
You in the video.
I ain't in no video.
Yeah, remember I told you when
I didn't go to the video. I didn't know nothing about it.
they took the clip when y'all.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, they used the clip. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, it was Ice Cube, Ren, and Dre.
Featuring Snoop or something?
I guess maybe Snoop was on there, possibly.
It's either Hello or I started this.
Started this gangster shit, yeah.
No, it's the other one. Look at these niggas with attitude. No, that's I started it. Yeah, okay. It's Hello. It must be Hello then. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, because the NWA movie comes out, that would have been the perfect opportunity to go on tour.
They was knocking on the door. You didn't understand. You don't hear me, Mr. Vlad. They wanted us so bad. I mean, around the world, we ain't talking about no L.A. They wanted us. After that movie, think about it. We did Coachella just a few months after the movie came out. 93,000 people. And that was the first time us being on stage together. 2016.
How did that feel?
Felt pretty good. It's just like, okay. I mean, it don't feel the same.
Yeah.
But it felt pretty good just to be. And the rumors and the talks was starting about the tour. To me, I think it was too big. Because, you got to get everybody on the same page, agree to this or whatever the agreement. I don't know what happened. Because think about it. You probably would have been putting Eminem, Snoop, and whoever the last you got to put bigger artists on, that would have been a major tour. If you just do one show a month or something.
Yeah. It just seemed like, for example, Ice Cube still tours.
Yeah.
And still does shows.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But, when's the last time Dre did a show?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Dre just, I feel like he just doesn't give a shit at this point. He's too rich. He doesn't have to do it.
I don't know.
He came out with Kendrick at the Forum.
Okay. All right. So he came out to Kendrick. But I'm saying, when's the last time Dre got booked to do a show? Where's Dre? The Super Bowl. Right? The Super Bowl was the last show he did.
So why do a tour when you can do the Super Bowl?
Do the Super Bowl. Now, you're not getting paid to do the Super Bowl. But Dre's a billionaire at this point. He doesn't really care about show money. It's just, it doesn't move the needle.
But you gotta.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
To me, you just gotta want to do the show.
Right. Well, and Ren as well. When was the last time Ren did a show? Seriously,
I
don't remember.
It was 2016.
2016. Right. 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, at one point you got very religious.
Now, one point, that's where I am now.
That's where you are now.
Yeah.
But
13
I'm saying,
years.
Yeah, but you got saved at one point.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a video where the pastor is expelling a demon out of you?
Then I was joking about it. Like, man, I said something, he just manifested. I'm telling, and the way he went, and we look over, and he is, we're like, oh my goodness. So we worship the Lord. Then I go to pray for the baptism of the Spirit, anoint him. Uh-oh. Be silent in the mighty name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I command you to be still right now. Come all the way up. All the way up. Wherever you are. In the name of Jesus. Come out right now. Let him go. Release him. All the way out. Right now. Let him go. All the way out. Out. Get out right now. All the way out.
Belong to Jesus. There we go. Belong to Jesus.
So it was kind of like that. Kind of like that. For some you're scared. For some you wonder what's going on. But I said the same word that I said many a times.
My son-in-law, we was at church, just a normal Sunday, because I played the drums in church. And I had did some deliverance early in the week. Maybe like on a Thursday. We did deliverance in the office, and like 20 demons came out of me.
20 demons.
At least we counted 20. So on that Sunday, I was just there to give a little testimony. Okay. And he said the word manifest. But now you got to go back to Thursday. Thursday, when we got down to the last few demons, just one word said, and the demons start coming out. So on Sunday, I'm up there about to do my testimony, and he said the word manifest, and it just manifested. And this is the craziest part. Believers don't think you can have demons. That's wrong. But, that's their opinion. I would say I've been saved for 13 years. So either I haven't been saved for 13 years, or I left my church. At 11 and a half years and went to my son-in-law church. Either I caught the demons when I left this church and went to that one, or I had them all the time. But see, some of the demons that we pulled, that I didn't pull out, God pulled out, was stuff from my past. From childhood, from all kind of little stuff. And we be having stuff from ancestors. We don't know what they did in them days. Witchcraft, I have no idea. But people really think you saved, you with Jesus, you're a believer, you can't handle demons. That is not true. The Bible do not say that at all. Because when Jesus came, he came to save, deliver, and heal to people. I may got the order wrong, but he definitely came to save, heal, and deliver people. Deliver people from what? Demons that's in us. It wasn't affecting me. It was just in me. But the stuff he was pulling out was just stuff from my past. Childhood. So I wasn't saved. I didn't get saved until I was 50 years old. So I had a whole life, a sinful life. I'm still a sinner because we can't get it out of our blood. But
yeah.
But that video was non-rehearsed, non-thought of. It happened instantly at that moment. It was crazy. I'm like, why would I make a fool of myself on a video? I ain't getting paid for it. People, that was some of the comments, because it went like viral. Just like, that's just an everyday Sunday. And that wasn't planned to happen, but it happened. But that's what came out was demons. I've been challenged. That wasn't, you blaspheming. That wasn't demons. Then what is coming out of me? Angels? Angels don't get in us. So only thing coming out is a demon. And it just, I've been taught, once I got saved, I'm good. But think about it. How many people in church struggling with stuff? Alcohol, masturbation, fornication, whatever they struggling. In church. Could be preacher, the deacon. How many people struggling with something? So they struggling with something because they never delivered what was in them. Everybody sinned. Everybody has a testimony. Everybody been hurt in their life. Like me, I grew up without my father. All kind of stuff hurt me that I didn't know. I mean, disappointments. Think about all the disappointment a person had in life. We all been through that. We all got it in us. We just... And I'm here to say that that video was very real.
How does it feel to have a demon exit your body?
You know, I've seen it and I've heard at church recently. They come out different ways, you know. A lot of people throw up, a lot of people cough, but it's crazy. And when he said the word, and I could just feel it, and he made it, you know, somebody have to tell it to come out. It ain't gonna just come out. It's gonna stay with you. And it's just weird. You feel this, but you ain't got no control. Cause it wouldn't let me talk. That's why it was screaming or whatever it was doing. And if you listen to the video, towards the end of the screaming, you can hear me finally say, get out. But it wouldn't let me do it. So it's like, my body, people even said, your face looked like it reformed or something. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. It's crazy. It's weird. It's very weird.
Okay. So what was different about you after these demons left your body?
It's like a lot of weight gets off your shoulder. It's just a lot of stuff. But I done had 20 more since then.
20 more demons?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got more to go. Once I'm finished with the music, we got to get all them demons out.
What do you mean by finished with the music?
Once I'm done DJing and retired totally. Because think about this. I'm serving two worlds. The DJ world, which is the world, and then I'm worshiping God. You can't do both. You got to be with one or the other. The dark side or the light. So by me, God told me when to retire, which was Switzerland. That was my last date that was contracted for. And I done turned down working on the Bone album just a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, the new Bone album.
Yeah. I just turned down that. Because I'm not doing no music, nothing after April 12th.
Because you're 63 years old right now.
Yes.
So, I mean, retiring in this age range is relatively common.
Yeah.
Right? But when it comes to music and entertainment,
I've been
I feel like a lot of us keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Until our last breath sometimes.
Yeah. I've been part of entertainment for 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. What I never noticed until just now, you're the oldest member of NWA.
By 2 years. E was 2 years under me.
Right.
Well, and Dre is...
like 3 years.
3 years under me.
Yeah, Ice Cube is younger, Red is younger.
Yeah, they both...
Doc, I think, is younger also.
You know, I never knew how old Doc was.
Let's take a look.
But he had to been around... I think he was around Cube's age, too, probably.
He's 56.
Oh,
he's
so
born in
he's
68.
really young. Okay.
Yeah, so he's...
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years younger. Yeah, you were really the oldest person in the room the whole time. You were the adult.
Always.
The whole time. So, you've had more demons come out since then. You're about to completely retire from music, meaning that no DJing, no making beats.
Nothing. Well, I've been stopped doing music. After the funeral, I said I wouldn't do it no more.
Okay.
I ended up doing a solo album a year later because they begged me. So I did a solo album. Other than that, I haven't touched no music.
Okay, so no more DJ gigs?
No more gigs.
You've turned down working on...
I just turned down Australia. They wanted to do it in May, and I'm just done.
Okay, so you're still healthy.
Yeah.
You're still...
I mean, I done had...
You're still relatively young.
Since we did our last interview, I done had 4 stents put in.
Oh.
Yes. Matter of fact, a year ago.
Oh, so you're having some heart problems.
Yeah. It was... out of the 3 main arteries, 2 of them was 90% blocked.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting out of breath or none of that. Until it was like, it kind of hurt a little bit, but not really. And the wife made me go to the doctor.
Yeah.
That's when they find out. Even doing tests, they didn't see.
Well, but look, assuming you go to the hospital, to meet with doctors regularly, and I do that as well. I have a cardiologist and so forth. As you get older, you have to start, I'm on Crestor and my cholesterol and so forth. Like, people, my age know what that is. But you still have, probably decades left.
Hopefully.
Hopefully to live. Do you have a plan on how you're going to financially support yourself without bringing in new income?
I step out on faith. That's
okay.
That's the way I got to be.
Right. Don't they say God helps those that helps themselves? There's that, right?
Nah, because God gave me the day when to retire. I wasn't thinking about retiring.
What did God tell you? What day is that?
Which is Switzerland. That's my last day that I had a deposit and contracted for.
Okay.
Was the 12th. It was a big festival. So at least I'm ending on a big note.
Okay.
But he told me that, and he told me quite a few things. And it's so crazy.
When he told you, what does that mean?
He told me that's my last day.
You heard words.
Sometimes I hear words, but sometimes I get the feeling of it. So I've learned to.
Okay, but you've heard.
It's like a soft voice. So you got to learn, or you got to learn how to hear his voice.
You've actually heard a voice.
Oh, I had it
speaking to you.
Not on this particular time, but a couple of times.
Throughout your life, you have heard God speaking directly to you.
Yes, I give you this. I was saved already. This was about early 2000s. I got saved in 2012. This was probably about a year. No, matter of fact, before that. God gave me a dream of my wife. Now, we had a kid together years ago, so I haven't seen her in a long time. God gave me her name in the dream. Just the name, that's it. The next day she calls me. I don't like, what? And I told her, I said, that day, you're my wife. And then we've been married 13 years. So I listened to God on that. One time, I was driving in the car, going home. I'm driving down the street. Some say, turn in the gas station. I mean, a voice. I stopped in the middle of the street. Look at the gas station. Went forward. As soon as I got to the corner, police. $300 ticket. That's one. 2 weeks later, same voice. I'm driving on the 71 freeway, storming. And there's a big rig truck right here. I'm driving. Some say, speed up. This time, I did what the voice said. I sped up. Soon as I got past the truck, I look in the rearview mirror, a black F-150 spinning on the freeway, hit right where I was. Hit the truck into the wall. Since that day, if I hear it, I do it. It ain't like some crazy. No, it's a soft voice. It just, people hear different ways. Sometimes I feel it more than I hear it. But I've learned to, just like, retiring. Just like when I announced I retired and I turned down people shows, can we give you the deposit before the 12th and do the show late? No, I'm done. And things happen. I mean, stuff just happened. I'm telling you, in the past month and a half, money-wise, just came from nowhere. I'm just like, what? This much? Okay, God, I understand. So it's what it is. I'm going to travel again. Because think about this. Since the movie, I have been to 100 countries. Since the movie, the group been to one country. Did 2 shows in London. I done 100 solo shows. All over, every country you could think of, I've probably been there. And now I see why. I'm like, all this traveling. Plus the traveling's getting hard. 15 and a half hours to Australia.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I used to do DJ tours in Australia.
Yeah,
It's
28 hours.
It's fun, but it's a crazy flight.
Yeah, 28 hours to China. Or something. It's like, that's just ridiculous. But he's going to have me doing ministry. I already know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is you're going to retire from doing music, but you're about to get heavier into the church.
Yeah.
You're about to start getting,
Yeah,
you're about to start preaching is what I'm
I don't
hearing.
know I'm going to be preaching, but I'm going to be with my, because it's so crazy. I was at a church for 11 and a half years. Dedicated. I would have never left the church. On a Friday, December 29th, me and my son-in-law meet for the first time just to talk about something, some scripture or something. At a Sizzler. We was in that Sizzler 5 hours.
Damn.
Every time I went to the bathroom, God spoke to me. He said, on Sunday, at a church I've been going to, dedicated for 11 years, on Sunday, you meet with the pastor, tell him you are not coming back, speak to the congregation, and leave. It's been 2 years. I have not looked back. It's his brother, too. I'm just his brother's the pastor. Him, I don't know what's wrong. But he told me to lead the church, how to do it, when to do it. So on January 1st, 2024, I'm at a new church. My son-in-law in that church. Now, because my wife go there, she wouldn't go to my church. She just didn't like my church. And it was a holiness church. So I go there, and I've been there since the past year and 3 months, and I listen to him. He guides me. See, that's what a lot of us, believers, they listen to him, but they don't do what he say. So you wonder why you in some mess or whatever situation is. I'm like 100%. This is what I do. He said retire? Okay, I'm good. So what'd he do? Set me up with money before I retire on the 12th. I'm like, it sure ain't the devil. I done served him long enough. I already know it ain't the devil. Because I know I did, very bad things. I mean, nothing major in them, but women, that was my sin. Women, porn. Think about 15 years of porn, 350 movies. I done corrupted a lot of lives.
Yeah, or you could say that all these people chose to do it and all agreed.
I did it. Because what's so funny? I was on the set. Didn't know nothing about God. I'm on the set filming in the middle scene. My buddy Big Man come to me. He said, hey, do you think we doing the devil's work? I paused the camera. Yes. Action. And action went right back to action. And I didn't know nothing about the devil, but I said yes. And right back to filming. So I know, but you know what it is? People think, oh yeah, when I get myself together, I'm gonna go get saved. It's impossible. You can't. Like me, I wasn't looking for God. But at 50 years, he came and got me. And that's when I was in the middle of homeless. Being homeless for 3.5 years. From this to the bottom. A lot of people can't handle that. That had a lot of money. A lot of people can't handle it. I just, when I was that homeless, I didn't blame nobody. It was me. I liked buying stuff. I spent the money. Because I never had my father, no manager, nobody to talk about investment, nothing, anything. That was the problem of a lot of people in music business. You have nobody to go to. So you just try to learn it on your own. Get screwed. But, I don't look back. I've done the past. I already know what it is. I'm looking forward because, this is my life now. I don't know nothing else at all. Like I said, this is my last interview. I'm good. It's great. Ended on a good note.
Yeah. On Vlad TV. It's an honor. It's an honor. Because like I said during the interview, NWA was such a huge effect on my life.
Yeah.
It just was, man. You have these little moments where you could go one way or another.
Yeah.
And you could say if I had never heard NWA, I may not have reconnected with hip hop.
Yeah.
And my life would be drastically different right now.
Oh, yeah.
Drastically different. And I'll be honest, I love my life.
I mean, you think about it. Hip hop is in all genres of music.
It is.
It
is. And I don't care who you are. Like, if you create content, whether it's music or video or whatever else, you go outside and just a random person you don't know, just, hey, man, I love what you do. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I've had some of the worst days, you know, in the last few months. I've just had horrible days, and I'll be sitting there fucked up, like, and someone walk up, hey, man, I just want to tell you, like, when I was overseas, you know, the military, like, I watched all your stuff. Thank you. And it's just like, there's not a lot of careers where you can get that.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you could be the best scientist in the world, and you'll never get that.
Yeah.
But to do hip hop and the way it affects people in a certain type of way, and when you walk around, when people just give you that genuine love. You know, the most they want is like a picture with you. Like, you know, I mean, they don't want anything from you. They don't want your money. They're just happy to be around you and let you know sincerely how they feel. And I just think about how cool that is at my age to just experience that when I walk outside almost every day.
Yeah.
And man, I feel like NWA had a role in that.
So you happened to slip in and got the prime time of hip hop, that golden era from us all through the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, think so.
Not these born in 2010 people, but.
Well, listen, I think I'm not, unlike you, I still listen to everything.
Yeah.
I still listen to all the new stuff, you know, like the Playboi Carti album that's a little hard to decipher, you know, I still listen to it. Yeah. But, you know, I feel that in every genre, at every era, there is the brilliance that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
In this era, you have Kendrick Lamar, you have J. Cole, you have Drake.
Yeah.
You have people like that. You know, in the early, you know, late 80s, early 90s, you had Ice Cube.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had, I mean, who were sort of the...
I mean, it wasn't no groups, but...
Well, no, you had a Tribe Called Quest.
But that was still in our era.
You had De La Soul. No, I'm talking from the era. You had De La Soul. Oh, later?
Yeah.
No, later the groups just sort of went away.
Yeah.
And it's not
Migos.
Just... And it's not... Well, you got Migos, right. The Migos was probably the last big group. But even like, for example, I interviewed Day 26, the R&B group. We talked about who the great R&B groups are right now, and all of us were like, what groups?
Yeah, so...
Whereas before, the R&B group was almost a standard.
Yeah.
Like, people weren't checking for the solo artists like they were for, like, the Temptations.
It was like a totally... Yeah, it's a totally...
Yeah. And you got to also think just about the way music is created. Like, you were sort of on the cusp of the era where people went from... Okay, I got to go find a guy to play the drums. I got to find a bass player, a keyboard player, a guitar player.
Yeah.
Hopefully one of those guys is also a vocalist, so we don't also have to find that guy.
Yeah.
But if I don't have a drum player, I can't create anything right now.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys were sort of on the, you know, with the drum machines.
Oh, yeah.
And the MIDI,
and
the SIP-T, and, you know, all that type of stuff. The SP1200 where you could actually program things. You don't need a full band to create music. And you guys were really like the forerunners of sampling, but not just sampling.
Yeah.
Of sampling and replaying stuff.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And that was like a very interesting time that you guys were in as well.
I mean, we also was known as the sample kings that got sued the most.
You guys got sued a lot?
Oh, yeah. I mean, from the samples we used. Think about Straight Outta Compton. How many samples is in that song?
So you guys weren't clearing anything?
They started clearing stuff, but they still, before Sony, who bought the movie? Universal. Before Universal, because Universal got the catalog now.
Okay.
But before they put the movie out in that, everything was cleaned up, cleared, you know, so that's why they reissued the music.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but we were sued. I mean, they had even a big lawsuit for years. Michael Jackson, all kind of people was on there.
You guys sampled Michael Jackson?
No, we didn't sample. Michael Jackson was on the list of sued, too.
Oh, right.
That he was being sued. It was a whole list of
Right.
artists.
You want to hear an interesting story? I remember the first time I interviewed Vanilla Ice, right? And I was at his house in Florida, right? And we talked about Ice Ice Baby. And he talked about how back then, nobody was clearing anything.
Oh, no.
And nobody even cared.
Yeah, they
'Cause
didn't know
hip-hop-
about it.
Hip-hop was an underground genre.
Yeah.
No one was going to go through the legal process of suing this group
Yeah.
that sold 10,000 copies is whatever. But then, then you had groups like Vanilla Ice,
Yeah.
rappers like Vanilla Ice that were going diamond.
Yeah.
And then that's when people started really paying attention. So Ice Ice Baby comes out. They sample Queen and David Bowie Under Pressure.
Yeah.
Never cleared it.
Under pressure. Who they told him about?
Never cleared it. But here's what happens next. Here's the interesting part of the story. So they go and sue Vanilla Ice. But by this time, Vanilla Ice is rich.
Yeah.
So partway through the lawsuit, he says, I'll just buy the song. So he bought
Really?
the original Queen,
Really?
and David Bowie Under Pressure, and then went and bought his own song. So he owned that 100%. So now whenever anyone samples Ice Ice Baby or Under Pressure, so when they made the Queen movie?
Yeah.
He gets paid off of that.
Oh, yeah.
Almost reminds me of like when Dr. Dre, before he put out Nothing But a G Thing, he went and bought that record. That record?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like, what was it? Haywood something?
Lenny Haywood.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he bought it.
He went and bought the
Because
record.
I wonder why he used sound like the
It's
whole
like the whole
track.
thing.
Yeah.
He didn't even really add a whole lot to it. Like maybe a snare in the back or something. Like hi-hat.
Well, he
All right,
had a
we're
kick,
done.
but...
Yeah, there we go. We're done.
Yeah, I'm like, that's all.
No, I had heard... I've always heard this. I may be wrong, but I'd always heard that before that song came out, he just went and purchased the entire record off the guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So he doesn't have to pay any
well,
royalties.
smart. Yeah.
Well, think about it. That song was not really a very big song. It wasn't like it was a huge hit. He probably got it for relatively cheap.
Oh,
and Nothing But a G Thing probably went 5 times platinum. So that was like the investment of a lifetime right there.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So Ice Ice did, Vanilla Ice started that, basically, probably.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
quite
much.
sure.
Pretty much. You
To
gotta
have
just-
enough money to be able to buy it back
Right.
then. I'm quite sure Queen was a little expensive, but not
Oh, I'm
crazy
sure
expensive.
it was very expensive. I'm sure that was a huge hit record. But people also understand how rich Vanilla Ice is.
Yeah.
Like he is really wealthy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Literally owns hundreds of properties.
Yeah.
Owns boats.
Yeah.
Owns like he's got a car collection worth over $10 million.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot going on with Vanilla Ice. He actually managed to invest his money over time and really did extremely well. And he has a hit show where he rehabs houses.
Yeah,
and
to
stuff
fix
like
the
that.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, DJ Yella, your final interview ever.
Yeah.
Ever. We'll see if this is true.
I mean, only one, if it would be for the documentary, try to promote the documentary or
Yeah,
something.
you probably
like
do something.
Other than that, no music.
Okay.
That's it. Hip hop. No.
Well, listen, man, thank you. If this is your last interview.
No, I want to thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, man.
That's my third time. I don't know.
Third time.
Somebody been on there 3 times.
I've had some regular guests on here.
Okay, but I'm not a regular. So.
You're not a regular. You're an every so often guest. But man, listen, you and Doc are really the only NWA members that I really have relationships with and have interviewed over the years. I've never gotten to do Ice Cube. I never met Eazy.
Yeah.
Ren doesn't do interviews.
Yeah.
So really, I am really whenever I do these, I'm always extremely excited about it. Just because of the significance that it holds in my life. And, people like to say, well, if it was meant to be, it would have happened regardless. But I disagree with that. I feel like you make decisions every day, and those decisions have, consequences that could last decades or even the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've told the story a few times. I remember being at Burning Man. I don't know if you know what that is. That big festival that happens in Nevada, where it's just out in the desert. It's this huge thing. All these people come out, and at the end, everyone kind of gets high.
Oh.
And I remember getting high. I took acid for the first time, and only time in my life. I was tore up, and I got into a drumming circle with someone else. And then as all the people started, and I'm high, all the people start coming. I realized the more I put into drumming, the more people start dancing, and I'm like, I'm going to become a DJ. And then that set me off on a whole different direction of my life. Like that one moment of a drumming circle set me off into a whole different direction. You know, and it's like you have to pay attention, you know, to these things and listen to yourself. And like I said, NWA is just so important, and the catalog is so important in the soundtrack of my life, man. And, you know, you had a very major contribution in that, and just thank you so much.
I mean, I just, you know, for this to be my last one, I mean, it's crazy that you're the last one. You just, you know, which is cool. You didn't try to go too deep today. I didn't have to cut you today. Nah, I enjoyed this one. Just, you know, we just talk like we just talking.
Yeah.
I mean, which is great. Most of any interviews, you know, same old stale questions, this and that. You don't mention no stale questions.
I'm a little different. I'm a little different. I have my reputation for a reason. So what it is, DJ Yella. Till next time.
Okay.